It's the Air Conservation Commission meeting. It's Thursday, November 7th, 2019. Conservation agenda.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet.
We'll call you up. Confirmation of agenda. There has been a request to move an agenda item from its place on the agenda to first.
Right.
I don't know if that's something we want to entertain or not.
That's Lot 5A Wright Road. Anybody object?
That's what it is.
But what about the other ones like before that? Do we have people who see those?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the reason?
It's by the neighbors.
It's by the neighbors,
Neighbors requested it.
so they don't have to wait
That's right. They have other commitments.
for the commitment.
Well, we don't know what the other commitments are. Other people. Might be a good idea just to leave it the way it is.
I mean, did you ask the first two?
Oh, yeah. Could ask the first two.
Yeah.
Pondview and.
On view, do you mind moving down the agenda one spot?
If that's what the commission wants to do, that's fine.
All right. Third one is,
The second one.
Yeah. second one. Yep. Does that applicant mind?
I'm sorry?
Does the applicant for Badger or mind moving down one spot in the agenda?
That's no problem.
Okay. We'll move the Lot 5A Wright Road to the first spot.
Okay.
And we're gonna add a discussion at the end for reorganization.
Oh, I forgot to put that on. It's on my copy and not on anybody else's copy. Sorry about that.
Move the change.
Yes.
I make a move to make a change to the agenda with Lot 5A Wright Road first, Badger second, and, Schaefer Road second, and Badger third.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And adding the discussion, friendly amendment, adding the discussion of reorganization.
Oh, sorry, adding discussion.
Okay.
Excuse me, can you guys talk louder or into the mics? We can't hear anything you're saying.
The mics don't
We're not speakers.
carry into the room.
We'll have to speak louder.
We'll speak louder though.
Please.
All right. Meeting minutes? Any comments, corrections, changes?
No.
Criticisms?
Yeah.
Would never.
Motions?
What's the date?
October 24th. Motion to approve minutes is written.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any announcements?
Announcements, two quick announcements. There's a talk being put on by Littleton Conservation Trust and Sudbury Valley trustees in Littleton this Friday night about landscape ecology, town's ecology, and the land at 7 p.m. It's at the high school. It's Littleton Conservation Trust annual meeting, and it looks very interesting, and I think I will go if anyone wants to come with me. And we received yesterday a notification from FEMA that the flood risk mapping for our area has been updated. And we can go to Leominster on November 21st to take a look at the new maps.
Will they be online soon?
I'll find out on November 21st. I don't know.
Accounts payable?
We have one account payable. This is from Solitude Lake Management for the second sonar booster treatment at Sandy Pond, $1,500.
Is this the one that we delayed for last week, the last meeting?
Well, as it turns out, this is not our last invoice for the year. Yes, there's one more coming, but they have promised our final report before our,
Final invoice.
yes, before the final invoice, but also before the next meeting. I think. I have the dates in the office.
This is the second sonar
This
booster.
is to perform second sonar booster treatment at Sandy Pond on September 6th, $1,500. Any questions? Motion to pay?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So our final invoice is going to be $3,000. And that covers the report as well as the final,
Was the final treatment along, I think, High Meadow Pond?
no, the treatments are all done. This is just like the inspection report. The inspection,
Was that, so that was, we knew about that, that was $3,000?
Yep. I also, George, have our latest budget update, just kind of goes along with paying the bills.
All right. First item is a continued public hearing, Lot 5A Run Road.
Chairman. Neil Gorman from David Ross Associates, representing the landowner, Joseph McGuan, who is sitting here with me. Here are some extra copies of a revised plan that I had, we updated as of this afternoon. I know it's short notice, but just, I'll explain. They're real simple corrections. It's actually some additions to the plan based on the comments of the site walk in the last meeting. Transmittal address. And on the board here is the colored version of the plan that's before you. Just bringing some color to the project, makes it a little bit easier to read. Do you want me to briefly explain? Okay, from the last meeting, in the site walk that was held, there was some talk about the removal of the trees, some oak trees that are going, that are proposed to be removed. From my originally submitted plan to now, the locations of some of those existing oak trees were modified more accurately after I had the site staked out more closely. So after the site walk that Saturday morning, I took some better measurements. So this plan represents a more accurate representation of the trees we're removing. I believe Mark was wondering about one tree that was inside the proposed infiltration trench in the stone wall located over here, so that is more accurately represented on the plan. Other additions to the plan is on the far right column of the plan, we put in a construction sequence, which is just a brief description of a sequence of events during construction. Kind of help the contractor and the landowner stay on course with this plan. And if you want, I can read them through so the audience can hear them as well. One, which is the siltation and erosion control barriers to be installed prior to the start of any construction. 2, cut trees and remove stumps. Number 3, excavate the foundation hole. 4, construct the foundation. Number 5, install a footing drain, boulder retaining wall, and the 70-foot long recharge trench, which is this feature here. Number 6, to backfill the foundation and the grading around the foundation. Number 7, install the siltation barrier on the uphill side of the recharge trench. Because during construction activity, we'll want to stop as much silt going towards the trench. Keep that operating more properly. Number 8, immediately stabilize disturbed slopes at a greater than a 3-to-1 slope. So then this back corner, get that stabilized with jute netting or straw mulch. Install the water and sewer lines, which this property is being served by town sewer and town water. We don't have an on-site sewage disposal system to worry about. We're connecting into town sewer and town water out on Wright Road. Number 10 is to construct the house and the screen porch. Construct the 30-foot infiltration trench on this side of the house, which the gutters for the house will be installed and connected to those infiltration trenches. And then 12, finish grading and surfacing of the proposed driveway. And then 13, lumen seed the site and get that stabilized. There's also a note that we are proposing trees and a mitigation area of shrubs in this back corner. The more bold tree symbols that you see on the plan were added to this more current plan. So what we're proposing is, Joanne had mentioned during the site walk, it looked like we were only proposing shrubs and bushes in this mitigation area and we're taking down trees. So we have added a proposal of 8 red maple trees to be planted. Some of them will be planted right along or just inside the 25-foot vegetated buffer zone. So those can be planted by hand and placed in there without machinery. We also have some in the back corners of near the driveway in the back corner of the property as a replacement for the larger trees that we're taking out.
Do you have a size specified for those?
On our plan here, we specify 2-inch caliper trees.
Okay.
And the planting detail at the top. The reason we chose the red maples is they're not going to get much taller than the house itself. The large oak trees that are out there right now, the biggest concern is they're so tall right now that the branches extending out over the lawn area and the house itself brings some danger to the site. So you can even see some of those branches are dead at the top and coming down in some locations. So the goal is to plant things that will blend in with the environment. They go along with the vegetation in this area and not exceed a height that will be taller than the house to cause a danger to the property. And the other changes to the plan were the marking of the existing trees. Some of the big oak trees that we were proposing, we thought were outside the 20-foot vegetated buffer strip. And a couple of them are actually inside it. So we've marked those to be cut, but the stumps to remain. We had one of those back here already. So now rather than 1, we have 4 that are in that category of cut, but to leave the stumps because the stumps are within the 25-foot vegetated buffer. But again, as I mentioned earlier, we were replacing with 5 new trees in that area. So the 4 that we're cutting to stump, we're replacing with 5 new ones. And then I know a lot of the talk about, the siltation going towards this wetland. And again, the infiltration trench is kind of strategically planned because the driveway is and the slope of the site is going this way. So the road and the driveway are all sloping towards the wetland, which will be intercepted by the recharge trench. That recharge trench is crushed stone wrapped in filter fabric with some pea stone on top. We've added to the plan or into the recharge details some information on how that trench should be maintained. I know that was a concern of some of the comments made at the last meeting. So again, the idea is for it to intercept any silt that's running towards the wetland. That silt in the area can be removed. If the stone comes with the removal of that accumulation, then we replace the stone. Any debris, leaves, signs of accumulation of silt should be inspected and removed twice a year. Typically after the winter season, so it operates quickly during the summer. And then again in the fall, after the leaves are gone, are down, so that we can keep that open for the winter.
And who does that inspection?
And that's done by the homeowner. So I guess with that, that's the proposed changes, Mr. Chairman, and I'll turn it back to you.
So your legend says that the trees shown in bold are existing to remain?
Okay, the proposed ones are even more bold on the plan.
Alright, so which ones are these?
These are remaining. And those are the So there's three shades of tree color. There's more of a gray version, then a thinner black line, and then a more bold black line, so. The grayed out ones are the ones to be removed. The thinner black ones are the existing ones that are remaining, and the more bold ones are proposed.
What's the total area that you're clearing here?
Well, the lot is
13,000.
Square feet. Proposed disturbance is probably closer to maybe 9 or 10,000 approximately.
If you exceed 10,000, you need site review for land clearing.
I'm sorry?
If you exceed 10,000 square feet, it needs to be site plan review.
With the planning board?
Yes.
I will make sure of that calculation. If it's more than 10,000, we will certainly do that.
Okay. Do you have any soil map information, what's underneath the trench?
I do not.
It would be nice if we had that, to make sure that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had a question about the trench only being 2 feet deep in fill, and we don't know what the soil below the fill is.
Okay.
So the trench is kind of perched.
Yeah, like a leaching system on a septic field.
Yeah,
You have whatever's down below, and we're bringing in fill, and then we bring in the stone above it.
right, but it's right hard up against that retaining wall.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah, the retaining wall may end up being the path of least resistance.
Again, water's going through, over the surface into the infiltration trench,
Right.
through the material below it, and then back into the ground, or if it
Or
possibly sleep through. But again, at that point, it's already been recharged through the stone. Because the stone is wrapped in fabric.
if it works.
It's a management practice that's been used commonly in Massachusetts.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission?
So still staying on the trench though, so the retaining wall, as they were saying, right? So it's 2 feet down in the dirt. What's the distance, sorry, between the recharge trench and then where the retaining wall is going to be? Because how deep will the retaining wall be?
The retaining wall is proposed
Like
to be,
about 4 feet, I thought, right?
we're at an elevation of 94 over,
Neil, does this look familiar?
Yeah.
hey, who's
There
that?
you go.
Approximately 3 to 4 feet. We try to keep it 4 feet around us so that we don't have to get into a structural
So
situation.
2 foot trench, right? And the retaining wall basically right just to the,
Down here.
West
I
side, right?
understand, yeah.
so how much dirt are we going to have between the retaining wall and the recharge trench?
We're proposing right up next to it.
Right up next to it. All right, so it comes through,
And we possibly could incorporate some type of, there's a poly barrier you can put on the inside of the wall so that any water goes into the barrier and down below the wall rather than through the wall. Yes, that is a possibility. typically use that in septic systems as well.
I mean, obviously the concern here is a lot of water getting through this and finding its way down into the pond.
And naturally, that's where it goes now. It's not a pond, it's a vegetated wetland with an intermittent stream.
That goes into the pond.
Okay,
Great.
understood. And so we're not adding more water. If anything, we're collecting water off of the roof and putting that into recharge trenches. And whatever surface runoff is coming from our driveway and the front area is going to a recharge trench as well, which are common practices when you're roof runoff. There's no contaminants of a roof runoff unless it's a metal roof. So again, it's clean water just being collected by gutters and directed to a recharge trench. Half of that is being recharged further from the wetland than where the roof is now. The longer infiltration trench is, again, designed to be positioned where runoff from the site as the water is naturally running. I was out there the other day and I could see a rut of water from the road going to the wetland directly. Again, that's not being treated at the moment. It's just running off the road, which is where people are using lots of salt and sand to maintain the roads. So again, if anything, where this trench that is being built is going to help intercept that. Not all of it, but some of it.
So I've no issue with the trench and, potential recharge. I do have an issue just with the overall project in general. That being so close to, resource area, which actually feeds into a huge resource area, as you know. Those large trees provide a lot of benefit for, a lot of different aspects of, ecology, right? I mean, they provide, the root systems provide, for water, retention in dry times. They provide for, when the ground is saturated, they provide for, absorption. They provide, roosting area for probably eagles that have been seen in there multiple times. Osprey, are there constantly. I don't, we don't know what the wildlife situation is in that area. We haven't had it, looked at. It just seems, the clear cutting, the house, so close to a 25-foot, buffer. I don't know. It just doesn't seem correct to me after reading, kind of like, after reviewing the Wetland Protection Act regs and, just going through project considerations, and, a lot of them I basically kind of checked yes to. A lot of considerations, and I mean, I don't even have answers to most of them. And I don't think this board has answers to most of them.
Let me ask you this. I understand, I hear you. We run into this all the time because we're asked to present these projects to numerous towns and commissions. And the Wetlands Protection Act is obviously our, steering element of it. We've had communications with DEP about similar projects. I've seen, I also look at the other aspect of DEP, which is the State Environmental Code of Title V, which I'm not sure, I know Ayer doesn't have too many projects with Title V, but generally speaking, hardly any, but I look at this question as like, yes, we're doing quite a bit of work in the buffer zone. We understand that. But the property owner has some opportunities and rights as well, and that's what the Wetlands Protection Act leads to. And my understanding of the Wetlands Protection Act is the buffer zone triggers the submittal of a notice of intent, which is, in some of their language, a pre-construction meeting. Meaning they're coming before you, they're intending to build this and develop this portion of the property. We know it's in the buffer zone. And are we protecting the resource area during and post-construction? Because when the site gets disturbed, yes, there's a potential on a rainy night that runoff is gonna go towards the wetland, because it's been disturbed and turned up, and it creates little ruts of silt running towards the wetland. That's what the siltation barriers are there proposed to do, is to intercept that before it goes into it. Everybody sees those barriers along highways and other construction sites. It's a standard practice to install those prior to construction, before disturbing the earth, before removing any stumps, so that any silt from the disturbance is not going to impact the wetlands. And part of those management practices during construction is that those siltation barriers and erosion control barriers be maintained throughout the project. You can't build a house in a week. So it takes time, and sometimes those things start to age a little bit and they have to be replaced. Again, that's the responsibility. We have that information on our plan. They're also to stockpile extra siltation barriers on site and kept dry in case of an emergency situation. So again, those are all in the plan of how to maintain the site and protect the resource area, which is the wetland. The buffer zone is not the resource area. The resource area is the wetland itself. So the activities within a buffer zone are allowed. I look at Title V, which is the state environmental code from DEP, which states you can put a septic tank 25 feet from a wetland. You can put a leaching field as near as 50 feet to a wetland. Again, that's without any questions whatsoever under the Wetlands Protection Act and the septic design, which is Title V. So that tells me that there are opportunities to do activities within a buffer zone as long as it's done safely. Again, putting sewage in the ground, which leaches through stone like our recharge trench 50 feet from a wetland, is an allowable thing in the state of Massachusetts under the DEP guidelines. The only contaminated water we're dealing with is driveway runoff, which is maybe possible drippings from a car, which are going to go towards a recharge trench, which again, that's a standard practice for sensitive sites to help remediate that situation and recharge that water before it goes into the groundwater or into a resource area. Now, the Wetlands Protection Act does have some no-touch zones, and we're aware of that. And those no-touch zones are 100 feet from a perennial stream, which is for new construction. You can't do any construction within 100 feet of a perennial stream. And a perennial stream, as such, is a year-round running stream. They're mapped on the USGS maps. Most of them have names to them, and they carry a resource area. The 200 feet from a stream, or year-round stream, is considered a resource area, just like a pond or a wetland. So, the first 100 feet from that stream is a no-touch zone for new construction. The next 100 feet, they call the outer riparian zone, you can disturb 10% of that area that you own. So, again, so there's provisions in the Wetlands Protection that allow you to do activities within certain areas. And looking at this particular project, which we've designed numerous ones similar to it, with activity as near as to a wetland as this, have been approved by DEP. And without question, I mean, or with minor changes. It's happened, I've seen it numerous times. So it's in our opinion that I understand we're completely in the buffer zone, but we are doing our best to maintain a vegetated buffer strip. We're enhancing that with new plantings. We're providing recharge of any impervious runoff on the site to be recharged and hopefully cleaned before it goes into the wetland. And from that point forward, we can't predict the future. I mean, it's really up to the homeowner to be concerned with that. I know that the commission can't run around and, be the policeman of this, but it becomes the people's thing at that point of policing any discharges improperly into the resource area. And again, we believe our proposed plan meets all the criteria, meets the burden of proof in the Wetlands Protection Act to do that. And I know that the town has passed a wetland bylaw, but this was submitted prior to that. So, again, we believe it's in Mr. McGuane's rights to be able to build a house there. Under the state regulations, there's not a cannot build situation. Yeah, but thanks for your time, I appreciate it, I know I rambled.
Was there any consideration for alternative construction to kind of build the house a little bit differently?
We went through a couple of different renditions. I know the original house that they wanted to build was much larger than this, and I trimmed them down to make sure that it could fit. And then we also acquired more land in the back so we could move the house back further. So, yeah, some renditions were done, but this is I think it's a single-story home, right?
Yep.
With the
Well,
walkout
no,
basement.
it's like a cape,
Okay.
so
Is
it's a
there
couple bedrooms.
any thoughts to make it a two-story, but kind of more of a rectangular structure, kind of heading toward the back of the property, so that you can kind of maintain more of a buffer between, you probably have more like a 40-foot sort of buffer.
Yeah, we added about 28 feet to the back of the lot, just so it would fit on this lot.
Right.
And kind of avoid that pinch point, with the 25-foot buffer zone is.
There's a rear setback requirement of 25 feet under the zoning bylaws, and we're at 28 feet, so there's really not a lot of room to rotate it. Again, we did try to fit it in, and again, this front portion is a garage on a slab. It's not gonna be a full foundation on that front L. That's just merely a frost wall and a garage slab floor. So there's no basement there. The basement is only in this part of the house. And it's kind of a mirror image of what was built next door in a smaller version. And so typically it's facing the road like many homes do when they're that close to a road.
So I've got a couple of questions from the administrative end of the notice of intent. Do you know what Steve Sears' qualifications are to do the wetland delineation? Is he a professional wetland scientist?
He is not.
Okay.
There is no stamped licensed wetland scientist in Massachusetts. It's just a degree thing if you have a degree in it. Steve's been doing this work. He started with Perkins Company, which Ross Associates started after Perkins Company in the early 70s. Steve Sears has a resume 3 pages long of all the classes that he's attended by the MACC, DEP, and certain certifications that he receives and certificates through that. We call him a wetland specialist because he doesn't have a degree in it, but he's been doing it since the early 70s. So we're talking about 40 years plus of experience delineating wetlands in towns from Worcester to the New Hampshire border.
There is actually a stamp for professional wetland scientist.
In Massachusetts now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
It's not required, but it does
Right.
exist.
okay. I knew there was in New Hampshire. But
And he's given us some of the information that would show up on DEP's field data form, but not the actual field data forms.
okay.
So it's a little hard to decipher the information that
Okay.
is here.
I mean,
because it's
again,
not
some
on the-
towns like the more simple form, and some towns like the data forms. Again, we submitted this weeks ago, so we can certainly get them, but
Well, personally, I would love to have them, because it'll make, I don't know if this is the soil horizon. Hard to say what all this is.
okay. Again, that's a standard process we've used in many towns, including this town. If you want the official data forms, we can provide those. Again, this was all submitted 4 weeks ago, so
Long time.
I wish I had known sooner. I could have had them here tonight. Sorry.
So I have a question. When I offered this piece of property to this board, like a year ago, Joanne, or something like that,
Oh, thereabouts.
a year or so ago, why weren't you interested?
Well,
If-
Joe,
if-
as I told you on the phone, we have a priority mapping
No, I know.
system that we undertook, and we've got 5 different areas in town ranked by priority.
Mhm.
And this lot isn't in any of those 5 areas.
But it's
So-
pretty important now. I mean, you could have had the lot. I mean, that's my question.
Well, it doesn't fit in our priority for acquiring open space.
Okay.
It doesn't connect to any other open space It's a very, 13,000 square feet, it's a very small parcel.
Exactly our point, you know?
Again, but the lot
We-
size is determined by zoning and for that, I mean, that's
It's
a
an
zoning
approved
issue, not
buildable
a-
lot, I mean,
The town I live in, it's two acre minimum, so it's a town zoning bylaw, so it's a legal lot according to the zoning bylaw. 100%. And we meet all the setbacks required by zoning from structure to property lines.
Do we have a DEP file number yet?
I believe we do for this one. Right, Joan? I think you told me that. Yeah, you said, you
It's
emailed it to
either-
me, I didn't bring it with me.
It's either for this one or Badger.
I know
and
Badger does not
honestly-
have one, so
Okay,
it's this one.
all right, so it's this one.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
100-04 something something.
I understand it's a small site, in the eyes of the commission, it's a sensitive site. But it's a struggle, I'm the mediator, I'm working with the property owner who has rights to use that land. And there's rules in place to either say it's a no build or a build. And I think for a single family home on a small lot, the design is adequate. Where
there are other houses in the area that, I mean, this is gonna be 100 times more protective than a lot of the houses that are already up.
Just behind them, there's lawn, we walked
Yes.
it, the lawn right up to the pond and right up to the edge of the wetlands and a driveway 5 feet from the wetlands, the same wetland, you know? And that road gets heavily salted according to Joe, because it's sloped up.
Heavily salted.
So, I mean, the impact of one little homeowner is not gonna reach that of what the town's already doing on the two roads that abut it. Again, if anything, we're improving it somewhat by intercepting some of the town runoff from the right road.
Yep.
Again, there isn't anything in your bylaws that say it's a no-build zone under the current bylaw.
Right, I think our specific interest here is in how the proposed project specifically addresses that wetland resource area, the performance standards of the wetland resource area downhill of the buffer zone. That's,
Again, that's what all those
Yep.
features are in place, and
Yep.
additional plantings and mitigation of plantings. I see many projects go through with none of that.
it's always
Right.
nice to see more trees.
Yeah, we can plant more trees, I mean,
Right.
I like trees.
Let me ask you this.
I like
mean,
this
didn't wanna
piece of
get to this
property.
point, But, I mean, are you leaning towards it being a no vote on this and a no condition? Or what is it gonna take us to get a yes decision?
We just want to do our due diligence.
I understand, but,
So it's,
okay,
anything
I
else?
need to know, because I can't keep coming back each meeting and, you know, I'd like to know everything up front as to what you want on the plan. And then we can see if it's a fit for the property owner or not.
Yeah, what do you wanna see? I mean,
Our job as professional engineers, I mean, for a firm that's been doing work in this area for 30 years, we were in this town for 25 of that.
Okay. Anything else from the commission?
I'll tell you right up front, what I would love to see is, love to see more of a buffer. I mean, I think 25 foot is, I mean, I just don't think it's enough. That's just my personal, you know, opinion after reading a lot of reports and a lot of, you know.
So Bonnie, we can get another 1.5 feet by zoning if we move the house to the left so that it's 15 feet from the lot line instead of 16.5 feet from the lot line. And honestly, every foot matters
Yeah.
in a site this tight.
True.
I understand.
True.
We're talking.
can we get a variance to go closer than the 15 feet? I mean,
Probably not.
you can't, okay.
You can imply it's hard to
Yeah.
get your.
No, they're not gonna give you that.
I mean, you could go.
But again, the
Yeah.
16.5, as surveyors, we try to leave that 1 to 1.5 foot buffer because of contractor error or whatever. I mean, we're talking with, a foot isn't a big number when it comes to laying foundations and forms and such, so.
Right,
And then if there's an overhang, there's always that question, does that count or not?
right, I mean, and
So-
then I'm just worried about just digging out for the retaining wall, you know, based on the elevation gains, it seems like it would be a larger dig out than that. It seems like it would be around 10 feet, but I mean, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know.
For the boulder wall, I mean,
For the retaining wall.
we're just getting through the top and subsoil and we start planting the boulders. That's about a foot and a half.
Yeah.
So how far, Neil, I see kind of, you've got a little bit of an arrow here from the retaining wall to the edge of wet as being 30 feet.
That's the proposed porch corner, which is about where the wall is as well.
Okay,
That's the nearest point of the structure, the wooden structure of the house to the well.
okay.
And if, like you just said, the retaining wall is basically gonna be essentially just scratching the surface, starting putting the boulders down, because then you're building up and filling in on the east side of the retaining wall, right?
Again, they're good sized boulders. They're not stone, manhandled stones. You gotta put those in place with a, mini excavator with a thumb on the bucket.
And you're proposing to plant trees on the other side of the,
On the other side of the wall by hand, not with equipment.
right, can you plant larger than 2-inch diameter trees?
You could. The bigger they get, the more digging you gotta do.
And the younger trees
sensitive,
actually
yes.
adapt
They adapt
better. But you could ask for more trees, you could ask for a shrub layer
I would like
in
to see
that.
native shrubs, like
Mhm.
maybe rhododendrons, anything that's native that would add
I love
More-
rhododendrons,
more
yeah.
color and, well, not more color, but more, wildlife cover for bird habitat.
And that would also slow the water down
More
down that slope.
root systems would be,
I mean, it's a pretty stable area where that is, but certainly more plantings could be added, but we gotta remember that they have to be somewhat shade, because there's already existing vegetation there that has a pretty good crown,
Yeah,
so. Gotta make sure that they get enough light to do. But I think most of them are going to be open to more plantings. That's an amenable option.
Absolutely.
Again, we've added some tonight, and we could add more if that makes the board.
My concerns are still with sort of two slopes coming down from Harry Zane's side of the road and the lot next door that's nearly developed, as well as the amount of fill being brought in. So, I mean, on the one hand, I appreciate the rights to build on your property and depending on whether we pass this or not, the state may make its own decision. For this one, I
We
just
can
can't.
specify the type of fill material brought in. We
No,
can
I'm
make sure
just
it's.
saying to not waste your time in terms of me at least. I can't put my name on this one. And I've done that with another one.
Thanks
so.
for your honesty. Appreciate it.
In the front way, you have the 2 oak trees taken out next to the driveway here.
Yeah.
What if you took this area from here to the road and left it in natural vegetation? So the lawn would not go all the way to the street.
I'm just proposing where these 2 oak trees are from here to the street to maintain as it is naturally now.
I'm sure there's,
Again, they're-
I'll speak for my brother there, I would assume he would go along with that. I don't think he wants to mow any more grass than he has to. Everything else is gonna be left natural. I mean, in the back of the house, he isn't gonna touch anything.
I'm sure he's open to not using any type of fertilizers that are inappropriate for the area.
I think that would be part of the
Standard order
conditions anyway.
Again, we're in agreement with that.
Okay. Anything else from the commission?
Just going back to the trench, I guess I still have an issue with the way that, you're gonna have stone right up against those boulders, and to me, I guess, I just see water just going into that and then just washing right through the
Okay, but
boulder.
we can
basically.
incorporate an
So,
impervious barrier
yeah,
between
some
the
sort of
two.
separation, be it dirt or whatever, if we can gain a foot between there to allow that
Sure,
to
we can
hold
do that.
back,
That's not a problem.
because anything you plant on the other side of that, I just see it just washing out.
There's not a whole lot of I mean, I gotta tell you, there's not a whole lot of water down there.
Well, but
Like
with the
10
impervious
months out of the
surface of the
year.
driveway and
That could
everything,
be
it's gonna be
accommodated.
more than what it is now, for sure, so. anything we can do now to help it, I think is gonna help in the long run.
I mean, I just raked all the leaves out of the stream itself. I mean, it's just, it's bone, oh, what? That's a no-no?
Uh-oh.
Oh, God. Well, I don't want the culvert,
Culvert clogged, right.
you know, I
Culvert
mean,
that goes under
You
the
don't want to
driveway,
plug culvert.
that's where I was, where the pipe was.
right where the pipe was.
And when the water flows, I have to move the leaves out of there. I mean, that's,
Well, let's,
this is,
for argument's sake, if there were no houses in that area, you wouldn't be having to rake leaves out of there. It would be a natural flow into the pond.
if you bought that little piece of property last year, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Anything else from the commission? Any public input?
Hey,
I'm Carolyn McCreary, Wachusett Avenue East, and I just want to say,
Carolyn, if you could come sit at the chair, this tiny little microphone will pick up your voice and yeah, that little thing that.
this is?
Yeah, oh, yeah, thank you.
hello. I first want to say that, this is nothing personal about,
I don't
you know,
take it
the,
personally.
okay, good.
Trust me.
But I have a petition with over 40 signatures that from neighbors and other people in town who are requesting that the Conservation Commission deny permission to remove, fill, dredge, or alter this area. And I can read the whole petition if you would like, or I can give you copies.
Go ahead.
Whereas Lot 5A Wright Road is a parcel within the 100-foot buffer zone of a stream flowing directly into Sandy Pond, a great pond of Massachusetts, and within the Pettapawag area of critical environmental concern requiring special environmental care. And whereas plans submitted to the Conservation Commission include the removal of 10 large trees, and this was before today's update, changing the landscape from one that filters water running into Sandy Pond to one that accelerates runoff, and whose forested area links provide a wooded corridor for wildlife from the forest to the north with Sandy Pond, and whose deforestation reduces the land's ability to capture CO2 and would contribute to climate change, and which supports a diversity of plants that protect the water quality, and for which the proposed construction will build impervious surface that will contribute to accelerated runoff to Sandy Pond. Therefore, we, the undersigned, request the Air Conservation Commission deny permission to remove, fill, dredge, or alter this area, which is subject to wetlands protection.
Thank you.
Is it possible that you could provide Joe a copy?
Sure.
Love one.
Do you have a copy
Yeah.
for-
Yeah.
right here?
There's, I think, probably enough copies there for everybody.
I think we-
Those are the signed ones, but here's copies of the petition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Hi, I'm Annie Reed, and I also live on Wachusett Avenue East. And I found out about this proposed development as I happened to be running by one day when the Conservation Commission was out there. And so I haven't been at previous meetings. I didn't know that this site was proposed to be developed. And I tried to do some homework by looking at the site plan that I saw that day when I ran by. And I guess my take on this is that I think that the homeowner is attempting to develop the lot and stay within the regulations that he needs to abide by, but I don't see any effort being made to really, in the spirit of the laws and protecting, the intermittent stream that goes through there to the pond, really doing what could be done. And I could just give a couple of instances, and again, this is the old plan that I had. The lot appears to be being completely clear cut, except for the little buffer zone down by the stream bed. And there are very large trees, some of them, have 30-inch, caliper trunks on them. And, they're being removed and replaced by 2-inch caliper maple trees. And I heard you mention about danger to the house. Well, I mean, there's mature trees, all over in the surrounding areas of people's houses. And I don't think that just because you have a tree that has a crown that's taller than the house, that's necessarily proposing a serious danger to the home. I mean, yes, of course, there could be a storm that could rip it down, but I think that, some of those mature trees could be left there, for instance, and that's not what's being proposed. I think that the site is being regraded, and a lot of fill is being put in when it doesn't necessarily need to be done that way. I think, the attempt to achieve sort of a flat backyard area and a front lawn, are things that are being done that, maybe the contours of the land could be more respectful of what's there now. I also think that he's carefully staying within the 40%, impervious surface. So I know the lot has been now expanded, but it looked to me just from eyeballing it that, 40% of this land that was previously woods is now going to be, house roof and driveway, and, it's not going to be woods anymore, so it's not going to be draining, and it's not going to be behaving like a natural environment would. And I see like a little turnout being put into the driveway right under an existing oak tree's drip ring, and it's probably going to kill the oak tree that's not on his lot, but still in the buffer zone. So
Driveway is right next to you.
I think there are things that could be done to this to make it a lot more friendly to the runoff that could be avoided if it was designed differently. So, I mean, I'm not suggesting that, he shouldn't be allowed to build on the lot. I get it, but I feel like everything's being maxed out. Everything's being maxed out to the limit on the slide. I think that more could be done. I guess that's the point I wanted to make. And then I also kind of had some questions about like the recharge trenches. Do those need to be maintained? And if they do, I mean, the current homeowner can say that he'll maintain them, but what if somebody else buys the property and they decide they want to put a flower bed in where the recharge trenches are? Then they don't function anymore. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of mitigation going on this lot. There's a big retaining wall made out of boulders. I'm not quite sure how that works, with water coming down into a recharge trench right up against it, and there's freeze thaw, and it seems like there's so many interventions going on this site, and it's really being changed. It's not natural anymore. It's really being forced to, basically it's being made so that you can put a house on it.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
And, it's not, well, I mean, I just think that, so that's my piece. I mean, I had a
The
whole,
backyard isn't gonna be touched. Everything is in the back is
But it's being regraded and you're cutting all the
It's
trees
slightly,
down.
we're talking a couple feet here or there just to create a little flatter spot coming as you step out of your walkout basin. We're not building a mound.
But when I look at it, I can see the new grading lines. You are in fact regrading the whole lot is being regraded with the exception of the small buffer zone.
Okay,
With a lot
I'll
of
turn to the
fill.
chairman if he wants me to address any of those. I know some of them.
Well, I'm
are
just
in there.
imagining that when you put all this new fill in, I know you spent a lot of time talking about what's gonna happen during construction, but what about after construction? I mean, you've put all this fill in.
The site is stabilized. We're
You're-
responsible for sign off. So the process is if we were to receive an order of conditions from the commission, that order of condition is valid for 3 years unless we ask for an extension. That order of conditions has, pages of special conditions that the commission is responsible for making sure that the project holds to, in addition to this plan, it references this plan. At the end of the project, the site has to be stable, no erosion, grass growing, plantings surviving, and we have to come back to the commission for a sign-off called a request for certificate of compliance. So they have jurisdiction of this whole project through construction, post-construction, until we come back to them and say, the site is done, we're done building, the site is stable, there's no impact to the resource area. And that's a request for certificate of compliance. They have that final sign-off. They can come and say, you don't meet 1, 2, 3, and 4, go back to work and finish it up, make sure it meets to their standards. So again, it's not like they disappear once an approval is issued. They're heavily involved from that point forward.
I know, but you're
And any
replacing
erosion
large mature trees
Okay.
with driveways and lawn. It's not gonna
It's a
filter
common practice.
things.
That's all
It's
I can
not.
say. It's common.
You can say it's a common practice, but it's
It's an allowable practice in Massachusetts.
Okay. But I mean, there would be other ways to develop the lot without regrading it to that extent and without cutting down all the mature trees. Is that true?
I disagree, no. I think it's designed to not dam up, the water is still gonna flow in the direction that it flows now, okay? The water flows from this direction towards the wetland. After construction, the water's still gonna flow in that direction.
You're suggesting that there isn't a way to develop this lot with a house on it without clear cutting it? Is that what you're suggesting?
That's not what your question. Your question was, is the grading gonna impact the resource? Again, we can agree to disagree, how's that? We
So I
believe
have-
we put together a good design that the owner is happy with.
That's why we went to the engineers, I mean, for the best design you can get. I have a question. So if the stream is totally on my property, and I go up there frequently and pick bottles, so the culvert where my driveway, goes over a culvert and over the stream, obviously I maintain that, right? I mean, I maintain that it's on my property. The stream we're all talking about is on my property. And I feel like I'm pretty much responsible to maintain that. To a point. I mean, everybody's talking about, I don't see anybody else, taking a look at it, but
I don't see any trash in there right now.
no, I mean, so what I'm trying to get at is everybody's talking about if something fails, okay, if this trench fails, I would be the first one to probably notice that. And if that fails, it's going to affect the stream and it's going to affect the culvert that I'm probably responsible for, correct? My question is, if something fails, 10 years from now, who would I come here and, do you know what I mean? Would I come here and say, hey, I need some help, this is failing here, but it's affecting my property and the stream.
If it's on your property and it's failing and you need to do something to fix it,
Correct,
then you'd have to come to us for a permit to work right in the stream.
correct. Okay. So, and if it's not on my property, yeah, I guess, I feel responsible for the stream because it's on my property is what I'm trying to say. And So I would be very interested in making sure that everything's working right, because a culvert is not that cheap, I don't think, to replace.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, may I interject? I know you got a full schedule tonight. I don't see that we'll be going to a vote tonight
Correct.
based on this. So before we ask for a continuance, I just want to make sure that I have all the commission's input as to what additional information they would like to see, and then we can request to continue, because I know you got a full night.
Well, 2 hands up in the back.
Oh, okay.
Way in the back, Barry.
Okay. Harry Zane, 32 Wright Road.
Harry, you need to come up so the mic can
Actually, can I
pick you
go
up.
over here instead of there?
You can try as long as
You can look at this if you want, or if you're trying to point
Well, I
out.
just said, okay, I live across the street from Mr. McGuan. My concern about this is prior even to there being a house on that property. By the way, he's built some nice houses on that property. I admired him. But, and I've mentioned this to the Conservation Commission, and I've mentioned it to Scott, who's the neighbor down here below. I've been concerned about this because now I'm sorry, what's your name? Mr.
This is Neil.
Mr. Neil. When you assess a stream like this, do you simply take existing data, or do you actually go in and measure the sort of mean up and down level of water going through that stream?
This is considered an intermittent stream,
Okay.
so it dries up frequently, I'm just saying, we delineate it by the presence of water,
Okay.
the vegetation in the area, and the soil conditions with hydric soils.
Okay. So, the Conservation Commission knows I pay a lot of attention to that wetland because it's on my property on the other side of the street. And that wetland, for as long as I've been there, which is 19 years, stays pretty wet. For the last several years, it has not. Last 2-3 years, it hasn't. The other day, I walked all the way up that stream, and it's bone dry. That has not been the case since I moved there. There's always been a nice, yucky.
It's something
I don't like it,
I
but
mean, the water flows downhill,
It's
so.
a yucky, yeah. But there used to be a deer yard on my property. I get videos I took of the deer. They come in, you can see the places on the ground where they sleep. It's not there anymore because that stream has dried up. And the reason it's dried up is there's a beaver dam that's gone in the last 3 years upstream. Now, I don't have to tell people in this room what the consequences of a broken beaver dam can be, because we had them in Ayer about 3 years ago where it took the road out. Now, there was another dam involved, but a beaver dam can be a pretty damaging thing. And is everybody aware of the fact that there is a big chunk of water upstream of this that's dried the stream up, but it still presents, as far as I'm concerned, a threat to this. And I've mentioned this before you were even there. I've mentioned it to other people in the area. This is something that's.
But prior to that beaver dam in existence, this is not mapped by the USGS as a perennial stream.
Okay, well, there's a lot of water up there now.
Understood, I can't go up there.
Right.
But
I
the
think
edge of
it's
the wetlands is far beyond where the thread of the stream is.
right. But it's to me, there's a big chunk of water up there that somebody ought to be thinking about. That's my point. I'm
Thank
not a hydrologist or a geologist or
Thank you for
an engineer, but
But it has been dry. I mean, it's been really
absolutely.
dry.
But it didn't used to
I
be.
mean, really dry.
Yeah, that's because when you go up there, there's a big dam up there.
But our delineation didn't take into account whether it's dry or not, because there's other conditions other than just visible water that we take into account.
Right, but I guess, again, I go back to the incident 2 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, a broken beaver dam can have pretty enormous
you.
consequences.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Colleen Kreeser. I live on Standish Avenue, 8 Standish Ave. I'm a little bit concerned, as others have said, about taking down a lot of these big mature trees and losing, the active root system and increased runoff. And so I had a question for the commission, because it sounds like there are some, obviously this is things that people have been thinking about and asking about, but still questions. Does the commission ever hire or have someone that they bring in to do kind of a peer review of these types of plans that could address some of these things that seem maybe still up in the air? Is that something that, you know, they ever bring in outside consultants, and would that help? Because I share a lot of the concerns, but I see that there's been work done on, you know, the property owner's side to think about doing this best practice. But I'm just wondering if that's something that the commission could also think about doing. I have no idea if that's practice or not, but.
We have brought in consultants for peer review on larger projects. When we do that, it's paid for by the applicant. On a
Gotcha.
small project like this, we typically don't do it.
Okay. Yeah, I just wondered because it was such a sensitive area if it would warrant that. All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
So, Scott Murray at 1 Sandy Way, I'm Joe's neighbor. And, hey, how you doing?
Great.
You know, I would just want to say thank you for doing this. You know, Ayer's kind of a small town, square miles, and culturally, and you know, a lot of the land's been developed, there's a lot of water, and these kind of challenges are probably only going to become more frequent. And, you know, I know how hard it is to be asking questions of my neighbor on something like this. And I mean, I feel sick, you know, I feel nauseous. I can't imagine how it is to be the, you know, the arbiter to decide between your neighbors and your friends. That's hard work. I mean, because Joe's my friend, and I, you know, and I feel.
And that's why I want to listen to everybody's
Right.
concerns. I mean,
and you know, and I always have a lot of wants, and I try to, you know, teach my kids to separate their wants from their needs. And you know, my needs are really two, and you know, one is I want safe drinking water for my kids, and I don't want the pond to fill up with erosion. And I feel like I sprung this on Neil last time at the end because I don't think he knew that you know, we do drink. We have a shallow dug well. It's about 40 feet from the stream, and you know, we drink the groundwater essentially. And I think, you know, Neil told me afterwards, he goes, no, it's going to be fine. And I just wanted to check now, knowing that you still feel pretty confident this project later on, no
The
impact.
land immediately around your well is
Yeah.
occupied by your home and your
Okay.
lawn and activities on your property, and
Okay.
we're further upstream. We can put a leaching septic system within 100 feet of a well. And we're not putting any sewage in the ground here, and we're well beyond 100 feet from the well. So I say with confidence that what we're proposing is not going to
Impact.
give any impact to your well.
Okay, thank you. I do appreciate that.
he actually wrote in the plan, this is the neighbor with the,
Oh yeah, we added some information about
on the plan itself.
Okay.
About maintaining that
recharge.
recharge trench.
And I guess, you know, and we've, you know, I know that there's been a lot of engineering to reduce the impact. And I mean, we talked about this the other day, and I think we talked for 20 minutes before we realized we were talking about two different things altogether, which was
Yep.
kind of silly. You know, and I know there's been a lot of discussion, and I think most of my questions have been answered, but the retaining wall that's between the stream and the proposed house.
Mhm.
I think last meeting you said it was 3 feet down to where the stream bed would be, and now it's about 3.5
Not to
feet.
the
I
stream
think.
bed, to existing.
Sorry, my
The stream
apologies.
bed is further down.
Yeah, my apologies, to the ground step down.
Existing
Now it's about 3.5 feet now. And so that, and to the east of that is this gravel trench, I guess we would call it, for lack of better words. And can you tell me more about that? It's like how wide is it from the like how?
3 feet wide and 2 feet deep.
Okay.
It's filled with crushed stone, small crushed stone,
Okay.
that's wrapped in filter fabric.
Got it. Okay.
So it holds the stone in place, first of all, and two, the filter fabric helps collect some of the sediment that's going through the upper stone, which is a smaller stone.
I see.
So the water goes in from the top, over the
Yep.
surface of the lawn, into the top of the trench, through the trench, and into the ground.
And
So-
then that gravel that's on top above
Yeah.
that filter wrap, like what kind of gravel? Like what is this?
It's like pea
big
stone.
chunk? Pea stone. Okay, so small little pieces. Is it? And I think I understood this from the last meeting, and I'm sorry. I mean, is that has to be the pea stone? Like that's the key to absorb the water. That's flush with the turf or the grass or
There's
adjacent
about a
further
3-inch
east, right?
dip, so that
It's a little gully almost.
you can see it in the detail.
Okay.
Kind of creates the.
All right, so it's almost like a little ditch, almost like a little gully. All right.
Very common thing we put along driveways. I have one along mine.
No, I appreciate that. And so that handles the runoff from the driveway, the lawn, whatever is coming off the
The
road.
watershed in that direction.
Yep.
which is
And like how many square feet like is that? Would that?
I'd have to measure it. I can't tell you.
All right. I mean, do you have any estimate at all? I mean, do you have to estimate that when you're
Again,
designing?
I know we got a full schedule tonight, so I can certainly get you that information. We'll be coming back.
Okay. And I guess my concern is this. So, in my mind, I think about, and I'm sorry you're frustrated because I'm sure this took way longer than you thought, but I think your systems and your designs are really pretty cool and they're well thought out. Okay, I really do. And I've talked with Joe. My existential fear is that it's going to be one of these March scenarios where we have this layer of ice and frozen. It's been cold. The snow is all melted down, and we have this layer of ice. And there's winter leaves that have blown down because believe it or not, they're still on the trees.
We understand.
And that this gully gets covered up with leaves. It's part of that ice, and essentially it becomes non-porous.
Why is there going to be ice if it's a pervious area? The water's going through it. It's not going to sit on top of it. The voids in the stone are going to provide instant.
So how long does that trench?
There's not going to be a pond of ice on top of a stone trench.
So that would
because
never-
It doesn't hold water.
It would
The water goes
never,
through.
if something blew on
Never.
it, leaves, it would never, ever snow,
If you
ice
really
build up.
let
It
go,
would
but
never
again,
form
we
ice.
put a stipulation in there to clean it twice a year to help.
Okay, so I didn't know. So who oversees
It's up to the homeowner. Just
Okay.
like you manage your lawn, that goes right up to the pond,
Yep.
and your driveway right up to the wetland on your side with pavement.
I have absolutely no concern about.
Well,
The-
it seems a little bit, excuse me, but
Uh.
you developed your property and you're right up to the edge of the pond and the wetland.
Sure.
We're upstream of you and we have a 25-foot buffer. So I think we're taking a little bit stronger stance than how you occupy your property.
Actually, that wasn't my question, and I don't think anybody would ever let us build our properties nowadays, to be honest with you. So I don't know if that's quite the right analogy. So
I
if-
have to say, I have pea stone on my driveway, and I have seen ice and snow. It freezes and thaws, and
Okay.
it sits there, and
But your pea stone is on a gravel base, which is hard packed. This is a trench of all stone. The water's gonna go through the stone.
Like a French drain.
I don't
Yes.
know what's
Right.
under my pea stone, but I'm just saying, you can see, it happens to lawns too, I mean,
It's porous underneath. The water goes
I know,
through
but
voids.
sometimes it
Mr.
freezes and
Neal,
thaws.
I live at
and
the
you
bottom
end up
of
with it
White.
icy.
Okay, I don't wanna lose control, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry.
Through the chair.
Sorry, may I just have, so my only, I guess my question is this: I have absolutely no concerns that, Joe and Carrie, good people. I think Joe's brother's going to be a great neighbor too. I got no concerns about them. I'm sure that he would be happy to have us come up, help him clean it out, whatever. I guess my fear is the legacy of the system, because if the system isn't maintained or it's tampered with, the system is only as good as the person that maintains it. So no, I get it, and I hear you, and I don't think we disagree on this. And I think my question is, because I don't want to be a good neighbor, and I don't. It's not that I'm saying no, not to do this, but my question is, Joe's brother's in his 70s, and the average male lifespan is 78 years old in this country. So, oh goodness, nothing, my friend. So 6 to 8, 10 years, if somebody moves in and says, this gravel's ugly, or I'm not going to maintain it, and the system now isn't going to work unless we have some way to make it work or to maintain it. Like, what is to prevent them from just letting crud blow in there and grow up with grass? I mean, is there a way to make this work, is my question. Is there a way to say...
It becomes an ultimate, nobody's running around policing every property of every violation of wetlands. There's how many homes along this pond that I'm sure are in violation that never get reported? The commission only gets those reports from neighbors that notice a problem. They don't have the staff, they're volunteers, they do a great job coming to these meetings, spending their nights a couple times a month, going to site walks on weekends.
I get
It's
it.
ultimately, the Wetlands Protection Act is up to the landowners and the abutting properties to be the eyes and ears.
It'd be
to the
up to you and I to
commissioner.
keep an eye on it.
I guess so.
If we're the
But what if it's a judge
butters.
who's not gonna let us, so long as, I'm gonna wrap this up, because
What if I die first?
well, trust me, what if, I mean, none of us are
No,
immortal,
I'm
right? I mean, no, I mean, what if I have a stroke? What if, you and I are gonna grow up, but the pond's still gonna be there? So I'm almost done, and Neil, I'm sorry, just hear me out. So if we have a March nor'easter where the air comes in and dumps an inch of rain, which is totally possible, and you're talking about like a 0.7 gallons per square foot of runoff, like really, when you think about it, if you divide it by, a cubic, each cubic foot of water is like 7 gallons. In my mind, I think, oh my God, there's this layer ice, which happens all the time in March, gets packed down. The drain's clogged up with, whatever, because who knows, maybe one of us is going to maintain it, who knows? And we get whatever if the drain or the gutter is not maintained, if the person who moves in says, I'm done with gutters and maintaining the gutters, we're now talking about the runoff the roof, and all of a sudden, hundreds of gallons of water are now just flow over this and down a 3-foot waterfall onto the water below. And so that's my big fear. And I don't know how to, and that's my fear, and because then the system doesn't work. And then we do have a problem if we have 600 something gallons of water dropping off a 3-foot waterfall. So I guess my question is, does the Conservation Committee ever do like easements? Like, can you say like, we'll approve this, but this little strip of land is like, the future homeowner is like never allowed to like dig it up and put a flower bed in there, like even though they might be in violation of conservation. Can that be done? Like, is there a way to so that everybody can win, so that those concerns get addressed? Like at least that part of it for me, I guess, is my question. And to make sure that it's maintained and kept clear. And I don't know the mechanics. In my mind, I can think, well, who enforces it? Who pays for it if that gravel needs to be dug up because it's all clogged with crap? I mean, what if the homeowner wants to dig it up and replace it, but they can't afford it? Like, I don't know the mechanics of that, but I feel like there's some way to, because I know you can put all these stipulations, and I know that the project during construction phase can be made safe, and I know the project can be designed to work correctly. I just know that all systems are cool because they work, because humans screw up. And my concern is that if the system can be screwed up either intentionally or through negligence, depending on the human that owns the property. Again, absolutely no concerns about the McGuans. They're good people. I have no concerns. I just worry, 10, 15 years down the road. And that's my piece, I'll shut up.
Anything else? Susan?
Hi, Susan Tordella Williams. I live on Sandy Pond, and a house was built in 1915 originally. And so I'm looking forward, I agree with also the 40 people who signed the petition. Go forward 100 years. Who knows to clean out those culverts or whatever those things are called? Is that going to happen? And do they know not to use the harsh chemicals that will go eventually into the pond? Like the 2 houses that are there now, was there a restriction on the grass, the grass fertilizers they could use?
You don't have to answer that.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah. It's not in the jurisdiction, it's for, those lawns look really good. I'm just saying that my lawn doesn't look that good because I don't put those harsh chemicals on. So the pain versus the gain. The pain is we lose all the trees, we lose this environment, and what's the gain? We get one more house and air on a lot that is kind of questionable. So there's been enough said, but I urge you to vote against it.
Okay, so going forward, you need to check on the area of clearing, whether or not you need a permit
Yep.
for that. There's the additional plantings in the 25 feet buffer zone. The,
Data sheets.
yeah,
Data sheets.
data sheets,
Yep.
soils information.
Okay.
There's the natural area at the front.
Yep.
Any additional trees that you want to plant in the back.
Yep.
What else?
The trench.
Adjustment on the trench,
Right.
I got
retaining wall.
There's one more thing I wanted to mention. Pervious versus impervious driveway considerations.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. We'll request to continue the hearing to your next meeting.
Motion to continue the meeting, the hearing to November 21st.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next item. Continue hearing from notice of 10 North Shaker Road on the open space residential development. File number 100-0437.
Good evening.
Good evening.
John Boardman from Places Associates. We had a site walk Saturday. Sorry, that long ago. So I was hoping to chat about that. I was hoping to chat about the open space and possible disposition of that at the end of the day. Give you a little bit of an update on what we're working on. And at the end of that, request a continuance so that we can continue our work with the planning board and the DPW in hopes that we come back to you at our next scheduled hearing, whatever that is, with some revised plans. Okay, so at this point, we haven't given you revised plans. I just want to be clear about that. So I guess my first question would be any concerns or issues that came up with you guys while we were out on the site walk. We talked a little bit about shifting some hay bales to the bottom of the slope to take those stumps out of there, and then shifting some hay bales around the piles of debris that we walked past, and that seemed like both of those things made sense to me, and I was planning on incorporating them on the plan revisions unless there was some input or objection.
So the plan revision as it stands now, is there any, is it gonna be changed, modified?
Yeah, we're going to have a new set of plans for you that's going to incorporate the changes based on DPW, based on planning, based on traffic consultant that the planning board has hired. And I'm hoping to bring all that in, as I mentioned, in sort of one set of plans instead of a little piece at a time.
And then location of houses will change?
Yeah, there'll be some adjustments to that, definitely. And I do have a concept sketch tonight to show you of where I think this is going. But again, we've got a lot of moving parts and a lot of people involved still, so I'm not ready to be giving you a revised set, but I'm looking for input all along the way.
Okay, I mean, if you're gonna be changing, I mean, I would really hope that you would keep this open space
Mm-hmm.
in the, so the open space, sort of in the middle of the property, in back of the boulder. Outside, so the 100-foot buffer, it's outside the 100-foot buffer.
So, yeah, you're sort of jumping ahead. Well, I was planning on talking about that in a minute, but I can happy to go right to that right now. So this is the definitive subdivision as it was filed. This is the plan that you have in front of you and that we've been discussing. There were a row of houses on the left, sort of an open area around the large boulder that continued to the back, and then additional houses here, access to the golf course at the back of the property. I showed you guys briefly on the back of the pickup truck Saturday, looking at changing the access to the golf course over that piece to the right, as we had talked about, putting some additional houses. And in this sketch, we had a house that went directly behind the boulder. So there was some obvious pushback to that from both the planning board and the commission. And tonight I just have a presentation plan again. It's nothing that's being submitted, but this shows how we can still accomplish the goals that everybody's talking about at this point of a access road where the golf course is asking for it, an access road at the front that is straightened out and no longer curving so that we meet at the intersection. The number of houses that we had originally intended while maintaining the boulder and the open space that connects directly towards the pond. What we've ended up doing is
these houses have shifted. We've got additional houses back here to take into account the ones that were removed down here. And then one at this location, so that this one's been turned at a 45 and everything is facing this, the backs of the houses are in this direction. Again, concept plan at this point. The idea was to try and keep that large chunk of open space around the boulder. This house would be essentially out of the buffer zone. You can see the orange line there. So I'm assuming that's not an issue for the commission. I would assume that's a preferred location as to putting it where the boulder is.
Is that
Because that's
exactly the
always-
same number of houses as what we
Correct.
originally had?
Correct.
And
Have not lost a unit, so.
and the open space is roughly the same as well, or is it? been-
Yeah, I think we have like 4 acres extra open space at the end of the day with the calculations. So right now, we're just adjusting units around to try and accommodate all the moving pieces.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, that's where we're going. So that's why I brought that to show you. But that was just one of my discussion items, so.
So at the very end, all the way to the right,
Sure.
you got the one house sitting there. Is there any way of shifting that up and pulling the new nearby boulder house out of there and then shifting the row of houses towards the boulder a little bit so we get,
This house?
no, all the way to the right.
No?
Keep going. That one.
Yeah.
Sort of shifting that up maybe and somehow snooking in another house over there instead of by the boulder.
This one's been here since the original submission.
I'm not explaining myself, sorry.
Okay. I gotta make the cutouts at this point. We just keep moving them around.
Taking this,
Yep.
moving this up this way a bit, maybe putting a house here so you can get rid of this, and then you can slide these over so we get out of the buffer zone here. This much, a little bit.
Again, buffer zone work's allowed. We're trying, we've done an awful lot here to get away from the pond. And we are quite a distance from the pond with the majority of the work outside the buffer zone.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it's already disturbed with the road that's there and everything, so if you're gonna go and like build it on something that's already a mess. And
Where that house is actually where I park my truck. So it's not pristine wildlife area. That first house on the left is basically where I pulled my truck in when we were there on Saturday. So it's that sort of level area. I suspect it's been pushed around over the years. Again, this is concept where I think we're going. Happy to get input so that when I do come back to you with a set of plans, they hopefully appease or meet everybody's needs as much as I can, whether that's possible.
On that sort of around the edge of the 100-foot buffer zone where you had that steep slope going down, and you're moving some of the erosion controls to the base of that slope.
We had talked about that on site, yep, on the left.
Yeah, and that was mainly to remove some of the loose stumps that are in there and
Yep.
debris. Would you be taking out, because there was a question, I think, of whether some of those trunks were actually embedded in the ground.
Yeah, I don't know how long they've been there. Some of them may be partially covered over. I think we would certainly want to get the bulk of them out of there for safety and aesthetics at the end of the day. So I think it would be better to have the erosion control at the bottom of the slope so that we have a limit of work that doesn't get, we're not reaching over.
Okay.
That just
So
leads to
you
problems.
wouldn't be taking out any live trees on that?
I don't think so, no. We were holding everything up at the top there.
So eventually who kind of maintains and, well, controls the who owns the open space?
Did you read my list?
That was-
You're going out of order,
Is that
but that's
one
my
of the
list.
rules, I guess?
No, that was what he said at the beginning was including the disposition of the open space.
Okay,
We have to figure that out.
all right. I still have an issue with the house sort of in back, because with open space, I mean, I can envision a kind of a running trail or a trail kind of I mean, that's a lot of ledge back there too, so you're gonna have to blast back there. It just seems like having open space outside the 100-foot buffer would maintain an area of open space that would allow for, trail use, bird watching, wildlife watching, walking through the woods, enjoyment of, the pond area instead of looking into somebody's back, bedroom window.
Yeah.
And also the boulder, having more open space around that boulder so that people could enjoy that, you know, that natural sort of setting as well, without feeling like they're intruding into someone's, you know, driveway or yard or house. And this is just, you know, it's not, I know, you know, I'm kind of going out on a limb and I shouldn't be doing this because it's not jurisdictional, but, you know, is there ever a consideration taking maybe a couple of houses sort of in the back and maybe making duplexes? So you combine, you make two houses from one, right? So you can get rid of, you know, a single family somewhere and create more open space. You know, especially maybe closer to the golf course, right? I mean, having some duplexes sort of in the back wouldn't be such a issue.
In terms of duplexes, we haven't approached that because it requires an additional level of permitting from planning and a special permit. Their regulations are written to allow the single. The duplex becomes one more iteration on top of that. And so that's why we've avoided that. This is only their second cluster project. So we're trying to.
I mean, is it difficult to do it, or is this just time consuming?
Anytime you need an additional permit, there's additional risk. So.
I mean, maybe it's just maybe a point of bringing it up and having a conversation before you even do it, you know? I mean, some of those.
I think there's room for compromise here by the time we get to the end as to what this is all going to look like. This plan sort of had a couple of purposes. One, to show what the revised entrance will look like in a general manner. Two, to show that the access to the golf course can be maintained and Mr. Curtis's requirements can be met. And three, to show that we can reasonably get the number of houses on there that we've talked about since the beginning. Now, hopefully at the end of all this, there's a compromise that makes everybody happy. But to your point, actually, I asked the planning board at the last meeting, you know, what do you envision the open space being at the end in terms of ownership, use, and all of that? They came back and said, we're not sure. We want you to request what you want, and we'll say yes or no, which is fine. But instead of me asking them what I want and then them asking you what you want so that they can tell me what I can or can't do, it seems like I could just ask you, since I'm here, what your opinion was, and then I can incorporate that in my response to them. And hopefully, again, we can have a situation where both boards are happy and we can get to it. You know, the standard is a homeowners association where the property owners out here would own it, and there would be some sort of CR restriction on it that would limit its use, and that CR would typically be governed or enforced by either the commission or some other environmental regulation agency. The other option, because I don't think this has really been done before in terms of their new regulations, is it could become town property. I mean, in theory, it could be town of Ayer, managed by the Conservation Commission at the end of the day, if the commission felt strongly that that was the best use for it. So I guess I'm asking if you have a strong opinion about it. I'd like to hear about it now instead of 3 or 4 months down the road when we're trying to write stuff up.
Well, and we don't have staff to manage all that.
It's more hours and a raise, that's all.
Bigger office?
Staff.
Staff. I love staff.
Company car.
Now we're talking.
So I just throwing it out there to get some input, that's all.
My opinion is if town's gonna own it, there's gotta be public access.
And that then becomes, what do we intend for people to do out there? Is it going to be public access? The DPW asked about parking lots, and I'm like, no, we don't want a parking lot out there. I don't think anybody wants a parking lot to bring people in there. So it's sort of all in one question. What do you envision people doing out there? How would they get there? Would it be mostly for neighborhood, people in the neighborhood, and therefore not town-owned, maybe? So.
Yeah, and does the open space continue around by the dam and up?
Yes.
Okay.
And all the way up to 2A. There's a section along 2A where the water's close that is part of that also.
Okay.
I have another plan I think I can show you.
Important historical site. Shaker, and all the
That's the overall. never seem to show that or talk about it. But the really dark line is the overall parcel. It follows basically the shoreline behind the new lots that were created. It follows Route 2A, and then it goes out and around what used to be Blue Northern. Down and encompasses the dam, follows along the property of the golf course, and then this is the area that you tend to see on my plans every week. It's just this section here. So there's a whole lot that's over there that's, mostly wetlands or indoor water. But that's would all end up being part of the open space.
I appreciate you trying to keep the area around the boulder open.
It's been asked, that's why I'm trying to do it.
Yep, and it just seems like that house and that driveway that's been proposed cuts into that quite a bit.
Yeah. We can take the house, put it where the boulder is.
There you go, right on top.
I don't think so.
That's the response I got from the planning board too.
Oh, good.
Underneath.
We seem to be
Where are
on.
you gonna put the boulder?
What's that?
Where are you gonna put the boulder?
Along the same lines of the open space use, the planning board has mentioned that they may request a quote recreation area that would be separate from the open space. One of the members suggested, well, that could be the boulder. You could put it on an area that's designated recreation so the kids could play there. There's also a small parcel near the entrance up against the pond, which is not part of the open space because it has the drainage outfall in it. Maybe that could be designated recreation and would give the homeowners an area to slide a kayak in or go fishing. So I don't want that to be a surprise too if the planning board's asking for that. Want you to know about. Right on the left, as you first step onto the property, there's a parcel that was separated because the drainage outfalls in it. So you had said drainage can't be in the open space, so there's a little separate piece there. So maybe that could be called recreation, meet their requirements, and it would have some value too. I mean, maybe they could store kayaks there, or at least give everybody an ability to walk down the street and get to the water. So something like that may be coming also.
Maybe we should have a conversation with the planning board.
Sounds like it.
Okay.
I like the idea of, given the historical nature of the mill remnants. I like the idea. I mean, I'm not averse to the idea of the town taking ownership and having some public access.
Yeah, as long
We
as,
could get Joanne's staff.
as long as
Yes,
it's
get me
enough
some
that it's
staff.
usable, you don't want, my few areas with smaller parcels that we just become a caretaker of somebody's backyard.
Mm-hmm.
So when the poison ivy grows up, they're gonna call us.
Well, the big feature here of the open space is the Shaker Mill Pond. So,
Yeah.
in my mind, at least.
Well, I hesitate to say this out loud, but
Uh-oh.
even developing a walking trail on the edge of the buffer zone as a recreational feature would draw people to a trail and maybe concentrate use on a trail and take the pressure off the rest of the buffer zone.
Yeah.
It's pretty open down there once you get 50 feet back from the water down that slope. There's not a lot of underbrush. You can pretty much walk through there easily now.
Right, and it wouldn't take much to develop a trail. My staff and I will.
Right, what else is on yours?
The only other thing is we had talked about utilities in Shaker Road for a connection. That is still our intent. We're working with DPW on that. We have not filed with you on that yet. We will. To let you know, the intent though is to do directional drill from the site down Shaker Road to the corner. So basically for that length there, you won't actually see any activities. It would be drilled and it goes under the road. You don't disturb the road. It can basically go under the culvert and keep going all the way down to the corner, and then it would come up and And then it would be a more traditional construction where they would trench and backfill and patch the pavement up there. So I think there was a lot of concern that that was a big disruption in a sensitive area. And our intent and what we're asked DPW for is to do it via directional drilling, and that should, I hope, alleviate many of those concerns. And that will be in front of you again in the near future.
Okay. Anything else from the commission? Does anybody else wish to speak?
I have a couple of questions for you. Melissa Tracy, Shaker Road.
Welcome.
Melissa, could you come up and sit so our little gizmo can catch your voice?
We all know each other well by now. Maybe this is a little ahead of the procedure in terms of how things progress, and forgive me if I'm moving in a direction I shouldn't, and I'm sure you'll correct me if I need to be, Mr.
We'll
Chairman.
slap you around.
You will, I'm sure.
We have staff for that.
Yes.
But sitting and listening to how you carefully reviewed the previous project gave me a lot of education and a lot of questions about our project, and I call it ours because I live right here, so it is my project as well. So something like looking at what the wildlife impacts might be on this sensitive area with such a large development. Is that something that is discussed at some point in this process? Is there any kind of a study or looking at, we have a lot of wildlife right here and a lot that is dependent upon access to that pond. Living here for 23 years, you see a lot of what's going on back there, from the birds to the mammals and even the salamanders and everybody else that's going to kind of lose their access. And I'm wondering, is that something that is usually done with a project of this size? Is that looked at?
Well, when we did the conservation analysis for the planning board, there was a larger study that included some of that impact. But one of the things I'd say on this is a lot of the proposed development here is actually outside of our jurisdiction. So we've gotten, most of the 100-foot buffer zone to the pond, except for that entrance area and a couple corners protected. Further back, except for outside of that little isolated wetland patch that is largely probably man-caused from way back. We had deemed that less important to preserve than the buffer zone to the pond. We had to make a trade-off in a way.
Okay.
But for most of the house lots, they're not in our jurisdiction per se.
Meaning that, just so I understand what
They're outside of the
that means,
buffer
that's
zone.
outside. So
Yeah.
you're looking at that buffer zone area and the fact that the animals move within and about this whole area here. And when this area here is disturbed, it will affect what goes on in that buffer area. That's not something that you look at in terms of us having an expert come in and how they do their
Well, it's
analysis and so
things
forth.
like that difficult to quantify. So it's difficult to do a benefit analysis for any options that may be proposed. So we tend to look at general terms. So
I see, okay, because that buffer zone is going to be impacted. Certainly, everything that lives there is going to be impacted by this development, right? I mean, that's kind
a given.
of obvious, that's going to happen,
It's a
right?
given.
Yes, definitely
Yeah,
the
I
stuff
mean,
outside the
and
buffer zone.
Deer will be actually traversing through people's front yards and backyards, eating their lilies, eating whatever they plant in their backyards.
Right.
It's gonna happen.
Right. But things that have lived in this area for centuries are going to be disrupted and moved around and so forth.
And they're gonna have to find a new place to live.
And that's just kind of the way the world we live in. Okay, so that
Or
answers that
adapt.
question.
I actually wish it wasn't that way, but it is.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
reality.
The second, I guess is more for the question for John. Can I ask him a question?
Sure.
With you here? Is that okay? The road, that there was a lot of question about the access road to the golf course. Is that resolved now, that that's the route that it's gonna take?
We have not submitted a revised plan. At this point, that's our intention, yes, is to allow him the access to the right where he's being asked for it in the public hearing.
And he agreed to that, so that you guys are on the same page with that now?
My understanding, we're on the same page. He seemed to make it very clear as to what he wanted, yes.
I see, okay. All right, the other question that I have is, we were talking a lot about the trees that were coming out of this previous project and so forth. Is that something that you look at some point in this process? Because there's 20 acres of trees here. Some of them are really old.
We can only look at the trees within our jurisdictional area.
Yeah, again, I think you need to remember the last property was, what, 95% within the 100-foot buffer zone.
I see, okay, so you're just gonna look at that 100-foot buffer zone and the trees that are in there?
That's our jurisdiction.
And anything that is disturbed there, okay, I understand.
We don't have any legal right to look beyond that.
To look beyond that,
Yeah.
okay, I see.
You can ask.
And we've been talking a lot about
Yeah,
it.
we've been discussing things
okay.
that aren't jurisdictional, but you know, you can ask. If there's a big 100, 200 year, or actually a lot older than that, somewhere, you can maybe
Somewhere.
ask, somewhere, wherever that is. You
Right,
can ask to maybe have that maintained somehow,
I see,
because it's a
okay.
historical, you know.
Right.
That's pretty good.
Right.
I keep coming back to this one, and I'll throw it up there. That's the aerial from 2001. Basically shows the whole site clear cut down to the 50-foot buffer zone. So there's not much out there that's that old. You know, as you got close to the pond, you got some bigger trees, but for a long time there, that was basically used as a contractor's yard.
Yeah.
They
Before
were
that, the shakers.
dropping and dumping and hauling gravel, and so.
Yeah, I was just wondering, intending to go in there and just clear cut everything, to bring the houses in, is that kind of what is gonna happen?
The areas of the houses and the areas of the individual lots, yes, we would probably.
In order to
remove
get all
the
those
trees.
houses in there, you'll just take everything out?
And then plant foundation.
And all the
plantings.
rock and all the natural resources and all that stuff that's there, that's all gonna go?
Like any site, there would be regrading involved, yes.
I see, okay, all right, and that's, again, outside of your jurisdiction. Okay, understood.
I think I can speak for the commission when I say we feel very fortunate that the developer has left the 100-foot buffer
Mhm.
largely untouched.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, it's all the rest of it that we have to live with. which is the reality of living in a large, within striking distance of such a large development, probably the second largest in Ayer, I would imagine, more than likely. So then I guess my last question, I won't take any more of your time, is I was interested in hearing about this no-touch zone business and Bennett's Brook that comes down there. That's something that we would discuss when they want to go up the road with the utilities, right? Because Bennett's Brook is right there. That's very much a perennial stream that cuts right through Shaker Road and into the mill pond. And in order to put the utilities up Shaker Road with the directional drilling, they have to go through the pond?
Under.
Not under the pond.
Under the culvert.
No, the stream, the
Under the
perennial
culvert.
stream.
Yeah, under it.
And that's within 100 feet
Yes,
of that perennial stream.
yes.
And that's permitted.
Well, they're coming to us
We would request permission.
to
for
attempt to get a
I
permit.
see. Okay, so that's for another discussion.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm good. I understand. What needs to be said when? Okay.
It's
good.
complicated,
Thank you.
as we said on the
Oh,
phone
it
earlier.
is, but
it's
we've got all the
intensely
time in the world.
complicated.
We got all the time in the world. Don't we? We do.
Not according to Scott.
According to Scott. Who's Scott?
The man behind you. We do not have all the time in the world, do we?
We are all on an end-of-life trajectory from the wonderful.
Thank you.
We have all the time in the world to do it right.
That was a good one.
You know, there's
Yeah.
already pond in Ayer, there's already a pond use case in here.
Oh, Oh, yeah, but the engineering company is aware of that.
There's a third one coming up too, I think.
Another pond view?
Yes, that's following Pond View.
Well, we know we need a new name.
We need a new name.
We need to,
All right, there's nothing else you want to continue with?
Yeah, unless there's something else the commission would like to ask or ask for, I would be happy to continue until your next regularly scheduled meeting.
All right, so motion to continue this to November 21st.
November 21st.
Second.
All in favor?
We're already done. Never mind.
So this will continue to what date, I'm sorry?
21st.
21st.
2 weeks.
Okay.
That works on me. We can bring it in.
Okay.
No, that makes sense.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
Next up, continued public hearing, 20 Hibiscus Lane.
Oh, no, that's saying real bad.
Keep them here a while.
Drink water, I had dry mouth that You gotta get home before it snows, you know. I'm 1,000 feet above sea level up here.
It's gonna snow there tonight?
Yeah, the flurries, come here one stick.
Did it snow last night?
Thanks, John.
Oh, boy.
I thought you were slipping something in quicker for me.
I thought it was.
This is an hour and a half.
All right, so I need to push my button. I need to get my stack. Push my button.
See you in a couple weeks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
See you.
I'm losing everything.
What are you looking at?
John and I worked together years ago. He was with Ross Associates. Okay. Good evening, I'm Neil Gorman from David E. Ross Associates, representing the applicant David Badger. Like the previous project, I do have some updated plans as of today, so you might want to pass those around. It's just a transmittal saying I gave you that. And I also have copies of the recorded order of taking for Hibiscus Lane and the associated easements, because the question last meeting was, is that detention basin, which is part of the subdivision, which is on our property at the bottom in yellow, is that to be managed by the town or the property owner? And this clearly states that it's up to the town. The town has obtained the responsibility of that. So it's right on the first page, the bottom couple paragraphs talk about that. So I just wanted to bring that. That's an official recorded document with the Registry of Deeds. So that kind of clears the air on that one. That's all in the town's. They have the right to enter the property and maintain that and do whatever they need to do. As we know, this is a continuation of the previous meeting. We had a site walk. The revised plan that's before you, there was just a couple minor changes to it. One is, like the other project, I added a construction sequence in the right column of the page above the title block. Again, just a brief construction sequence describing the order of events for this particular site and construction. Again, very straightforward, very simple. Just so they know the manner in which to proceed to proceed safely for the sensitive areas around us. In addition, we've added a dry well to collect roof runoff through a gutter system that is then directed to a dry well. That dry well is located in, which would be to the east of the front of the, or the front of the house, the east of the house. Again, we didn't have any type of roof collection system on this plan.
Is it shown on here?
Yeah, there's a circle, the two circles there.
again, that's designed to collect the roof runoff. We've added a detail on the left side of the page. And then there's also a detail further down on the left side of the page for the gutter system in which to connect the system and run it with a 6-inch PVC pipe subsurface to that dry well. Again, that is also to act as a recharging system for the roof runoff, which helps resist any kind of erosion from the roof and any other issues. And again, as we discussed in the past, roof runoff is not a contaminated runoff, but it could build up some velocity, but the gutters will certainly collect that and direct it somewhere safe to not cause erosion. And other than that, we didn't change the design at all. The driveway is still the same driveway. The house is in the same location. We haven't changed the limit of work at all. So that's kind of where we are now with this particular plan.
When we were on the site walk, we noticed that we have the 100-foot wetland buffer, and then it turns into the 100-foot pond buffer, and I thought you were gonna...
I think that is corrected on there. I'll try to point it out to you.
Okay.
This is the 100-foot wetland buffer.
All right.
Oh, okay, this label here. Yeah,
We've
I'm
got
sorry.
this,
I was looking up here.
Right.
Yeah, this is the 100-foot pond buffer. So her question is, where's the 100-foot buffer zone for the wetlands? It's this thicker green line here on the color plan. Does say pond buffer on that one. I'm not sure why that. So yes, that's the pond. That's the wetland.
All right.
My apologies. And just to address, what prompted me to do some quick calculations during the last hearing was we do exceed the 10,000 square feet, so obviously this will trigger a site plan review with the plan.
Right.
So we are aware of that.
Anything else from the commission?
Driveway will be impervious.
Proposed driveway is detailed as pavement.
Pavement.
It's a lot of pavement.
It is. But with the slopes, it'll be easier to maintain than a gravel driveway.
What about like having to salt it and do the maintenance in the winter and all that stuff?
I mean, I know salt is always a sensitive issue, so I'm sure they'd be okay with not using salt contaminant. I mean, we could just use sand.
Yeah.
That would be an understandable condition.
Yeah.
And how about any additional plantings to make up for the tree clearing?
Yeah, this particular plan didn't have any shown at this point, but if there is some interest in that, we can certainly address that.
Well, I'm personally always in favor of more trees.
Okay. Oh, and one other thing. This particular project does not have a DEP number yet. Okay.
I know.
And why is that? Well, looking back towards me, when this was all submitted in to you, we sent a check to Boston. We sent a package to Natural Heritage, which we got that reply.
Right away.
One never made it to Worcester. So the fee went to Boston, but the package never went to Worcester. So we did mail that out this week. So
Okay.
by the next meeting, we should have a number.
Okay.
So I was all ready to call them, and I went to look for the green card to say what date did they sign to receive it, and I couldn't find our green card. So it was just accidentally omitted sending them a copy of it for them to issue. But the check is there. They just don't have a application to go with it or plan. So.
You have proposed plantings on here. Do you have a schedule?
Those plantings are just arborvitaes, kind of acting as a screen between the existing dwelling to the north. So that was just basically, trying to create some kind of an evergreen that's thick to kind of shield headlights and just privacy.
Yeah. Anything else?
Just more trees.
We could certainly put together a mitigation plan of some sort with some
I
trees.
think that would
We can accommodate that.
that would be great.
Thank you.
Any public input?
Yes.
Come on down.
Kelly Hart, 18 Hibiscus, next door. So I have a couple of questions. My biggest concern really is the loss of trees. Obviously, if you guys went on the site walk, you saw what it looks like, right? They're ginormous pine trees. It's very dark, very peaceful over there. I don't even know the badgers exist on the other side. You can't even see them. My big concern is that, obviously this whole project is within the 100-foot buffer zone. And I do think that there's an opportunity to, at least on the left-hand side, move the house further into the center of the property, further over to the right, where it would be maybe outside of the 50-foot buffer zone, like to only leave a 25-foot buffer and say you're not going to do any work within 25 feet of the pond. 25 feet isn't very far. I'd like to see no work done within at least 50 feet of the pond at a minimum, where this is new construction. It's not an addition. When the Badgers put their 3-car garage on, that's, I'm sure that was within a buffer zone too. That's fine. It's an addition to an existing house, whatever. We're talking new construction. The other sort of suggestion I have, I know we're talking about the driveway and a 300-foot driveway, and isn't that a lot of impervious? Where they're already granting them an easement to put the driveway, the Badgers are on their property. What about the opportunity for a shared driveway? That would, kind of eliminate the whole bottom part of the driveway.
Can you show where you think that would be?
So the existing house and driveway are right here. This is the end of the cul-de-sac right here. So, and where it's kind of my understanding that this is being built for a family member, that perhaps they could eliminate this part of the driveway and then just have like a shared driveway here, if they're already granting them an easement.
May I address that real quickly?
Sure.
Okay. This portion of the driveway from here to the street is outside the 100-foot buffer. Okay, of the wetlands. This is a huge boulder. I don't remember the site walk, so we know there's going to be a significant encounter of ledge through there, where this is minimal cuts and fills through there, and we're outside the jurisdiction of. Plus, when this original subdivision was proposed, it included the collection of runoff from driveways for every house in the neighborhood into the stormwater management plan for this whole neighborhood. That's why this detention basin exists and why there's catch basins down here. So the driveway is graded and such to go to there as originally approved in the subdivision back from the 90s as part of their stormwater management plan of, they know there's gonna be impervious driveways. Every house here has a paved driveway. And all those driveways more or less pitched to the road because it's designed that way to be collected into that system and treated. There's numerous things around, but this in particular one. So that's already, the original subdivision was always gonna have a home here, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got that. All right. I'm
Fair enough, thanks.
Anything outside the 100-foot buffer zone.
Thanks for
that's
yielding
cool.
to me.
But 25 feet is just, that's on a piece of property that big, over an acre, 1.93 acres. The opportunity to move the house over here, to me, would make more sense where you're outside more of this. You're not gonna have as much runoff up there. You're not gonna have the grading because it is kind of a hilly area. And that whole place, this was all ledge here. And the whole thing, you can see the boulders from the sidewalk, so you know it's all full of ledge. So I just, the further away from the pond, the better. And especially in terms of being able to keep these big trees, because there are huge trees that are all around right here. I never see this part, I don't even know what's back there. But as far as this part here goes, the loss of trees would be really sad on a new construction project where it doesn't have to happen, in my opinion.
Yeah, that actually raises a good question, because I know the way the house is situated now is in that sort of depression area where you don't think there's any ledge. But I guess, has it been assessed completely to know where all the ledge is? And could the house be brought in closer so you eliminate, a long driveway, the house is in a bit closer? Okay, you don't have, you don't have to have a back.
Closer this way?
Yep, but we're closer to the Hibiscus Lane.
Okay.
Again, we did give it, we have, as a firm, an engineering firm, we did try to strategically place this in a location that made sense. When you build a foundation, you have the foundation, plus you have 4-foot cross walls.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a mound here and a mound here, which we see numerous ledge outcroppings coming from, exposed at the surface. No, we didn't drill or dig right on top of them. But if you have a saddle in there, that we have an elevation change from in here of, at least 6 feet to the top of those hills. It makes engineering sense to use the saddle in your advantage for the foundation, rather than having to dig or really excavate or blast ledge in order to place the house. So there is significant ledge outcrops here. There's another one here and another one here. So moving the house in this direction is going towards where we already know there's exposed ledge. We're trying to use the saddle in this case to the advantage of the property so that we don't have to do as much or any blasting for the foundation. Again, moving the house more forward this way than the driveway moves. Again, we try to come up with scenarios in which the driveway meets a safe grade for any kind of people driving up there. And then also using the characteristics of the site to match where the house goes. Again, the property is elongated in this direction, the house is oriented in that similar direction, rather than spinning it or moving it on top of a knob of ledge wouldn't really make any sense on the building side of things.
What about a bigger buffer for trees along that side? Instead of just 25 feet of no disturbance, what about 50 feet of no disturbance?
Well,
That'd be right in the middle of the house.
But the limit of work is how far from the well?
The house is located 41 feet from the wetland flag here.
Okay.
This is the 25-foot offset from the wetlands.
Okay.
So we're showing the limit of work just outside the 25 feet in this portion of the property.
Mm-hmm.
The 25-foot goes way up in there and back this way. So in this area, this is 25 feet and this is 25 feet. Again, the characteristics of the site are driving it more than us just wanting to put it in that location.
Joe Hart, 18 Hibiscus, I appreciate that. And to the detriment of the site, you're putting in the middle, so you're gonna have the most impact to the peninsula, right? Chairman, I should ask you, I can't ask you, I guess.
Your name again?
Joe Hart.
Joe Hart.
So what I'm saying is, you keep talking about going to a ledge area here. I'm saying go north, go closer to the Badgers. These guys are, what is this, 20 feet here maybe? Go 20 feet off this line. You have more of a straight shot, your driveway ends, this is probably 150 feet distance. You're gonna eliminate all that, you're gonna have your garage here, your house here. We still don't know how big this house is.
Well, it's to scale on it.
Well, you couldn't tell us last time how big it was.
I brought a scale for you.
Why don't you tell me how big it is?
Okay. The main house box is 50 by 30,
So 50 by 30, a one level, two level,
most likely a 2-level,
most likely.
and a 24 by 24 garage. Standard,
So,
right, 3-bedroom house.
so my pitch is try to protect, like Kelly's talking about. Now, right now, you're only protecting 25 feet. By moving it this way, you're getting probably closer to 50 feet protected. And you saw those trees. As soon as those trees are gone, you're not gonna put a small cherry tree all around this property to make up for the loss there. There's considerable loss of very mature pine trees
I
that
know.
you guys
There are
call
wood
the-
ducks there that
what
keep,
do you call
yeah,
it? The
you know.
umbrella, the canopy.
Canopy.
That really, makes that spot beautiful, and it's a great pond that everyone enjoys.
That you live on.
Yeah.
And your house is pretty
I
close
said
to the
where I
pond.
live,
Yeah,
Well,
and your house
but
is
right.
close to the pond, and you have lawn,
and I bought that house 3 years ago. Someone did it in 1999. I wouldn't do it right now.
and.
I wouldn't be able to do it right
You
now.
have a shed in here, correct? In the easement, drainage easement area?
Yeah.
And then you access it through some grass here over our property line?
Mr. Badge allows me to do that.
I wonder. Okay,
He hasn't stopped me. And I put it into an email, gentleman's agreement.
fair enough. Just want the commissioner to know that there's,
There's what?
there's encroachment.
Of course, I have this is all my property. I go over this small piece of land, it's like probably 10 feet onto his property, and I had to use 10 feet and 5
Okay,
feet.
I'm just, he agrees
All right,
that it
anyway,
goes over the property, that's all.
all right,
I'm just saying.
so, yeah, but and that's between the Badgers and us,
These
but anyway.
guys and us, not this guy, whoever this is.
But germane
That's
to
Mr.
the,
Badger.
yeah,
Yeah,
germane to the.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, germane to the property, the
Thank you.
canopy,
I know.
there's a compromise, I
Right.
think, obviously, this is a buildable lot.
Right.
And we agree the Badgers should be able to do
Right.
something.
Right.
We
We
are not
totally agree
saying
with
don't
that.
build a house. I'm just saying instead of 25 feet, could
The house
there
is more
be,
than 25 feet away.
could it be, right, but I'm
No, no.
talking about the disturbance of work. I'm talking
Jeez.
about the trees that are being taken down, that, the house itself, that's fine. I'm just talking about the lot itself.
Again, the reason we don't move it in that direction is because this elevation here is at 107. The low spot here is at 95. To put the house over here and get the driveway to reach in at the proper grade, this would become extremely steep. And putting it here, again, we know we're gonna encounter ledge here. To put it on the top of the ledge, rather than in the valley where we're not gonna have to blast, is the logic.
Some people put in underground houses.
No, but I'm also curious just a little bit about the ledge, because where you're saying that there is ledge, it's not marked that it's ledge. Like there was that little piece there, but that's
Again, that's what's exposed.
right.
Well, and we do have some soils information about this one that we didn't have for the other. Mapped as Hollis Rock Outcrop Charlton and is rated hydrologic soil group D. So
Right.
it's
It's hard stuff.
hard stuff, hard as a rock.
Right.
Right.
And putting it in the valley and putting some fill in the valley is gonna make it more permeable.
What if we pulled the limit of work in a little bit towards the house? Really, every foot or two does help. So on the back of the house, Neil, what is
The offset's 41.3 feet for the house to the wetland.
Okay, and how about from the house to the limit of work? Is it-
This right here?
Yeah.
Well, this is 25, so that'd be 15 feet. And it's a walkout basement. There's very little grading going on. There's one grading line back there because it is a walkout basement.
Yeah.
Naturally, the way we have it situated.
Well, and in order to build a house, you really need like 15 feet. That's about.
Yeah, I from the back of the house, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. How about the side? Where the trees that I'm really concerned about and the part of the property that I'm most concerned about is the part here. This part of the pond is you see, is growing in. And more runoff coming from less trees, more things come down here, tells me that this is just going to fill in even more quickly. So I would love to see the limit of work here be larger to give us a bigger buffer zone, not just this much. That's,
Do you think that's
We can address that.
possible?
Sure.
And some plantings?
yes.
We can tighten that up on that side. That's fine.
Which direction side is this?
Be the,
Talking in this area, which is south of the house.
Okay.
South and southeast of the house.
If you're gonna tighten it up, it would be, I think it would be nice to see which trees would be saved, because that's the whole point of it, right?
Right, that's the whole
So
point,
I
are
think it
these
would be
really
nice to
large?
have
I'll
which
take an
trees will
inventory
be
up in that area.
saved in that area.
We'll take a quick count up there.
yeah, that'd be good, thank you.
Is it just in that specific area or the whole clearing area do you want the trees?
Do the whole thing.
What he said. Yeah, because that, it would be just interesting to see what.
What's the minimum size
I
caliber?
don't want to do it just for interest, but I mean, what you did on the other property was very helpful and very beneficial, I think, to
Oh,
all.
this is just a larger site, so.
Yeah, but going back there, I don't think you had quite as many large ones, honestly, like where you wanted
There's some
to.
big pines, but yeah.
Yeah, but where you wanted to build, from what I remember,
Like 8 to 10
I don't think it
inches?
was quite like the property on Wright Road.
8 to 10 inches.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Okay,
So
nothing else?
administratively from the staff, who has staff.
Thank you.
I'd like to field data forms for this too.
Okay.
I've got the soils information. And just a little bit more in the narrative about how the project proposes to protect Long Pond.
Okay.
Is there a way to pull that turnaround kind of to the other side of the driveway at all? Is that possible? So it's not in front of the house as much?
This way?
Yeah.
Just makes this corner a little tighter. We can take a look at it, but that makes that turning radius extremely tight.
Why wouldn't you want it in front of the house?
Just trying to keep it further away from the pond in general, I guess.
So it's kind of like more ledgy, you have to blast more and fill in more.
Again, there is ledge in that area. We're building it where there's gonna be fill rather than a cut.
Right.
We're building in fill on that side. Or it'd be a cut on the other side, cut into the possible rock.
Well, maybe it doesn't even need a turnaround. Maybe there's enough room to back out of a garage.
For a car, but you gotta remember, we also have to think of delivery trucks, whether it's oil or
You can't
UPS,
back up that.
ambulances.
They could try.
Yeah.
That might take out more trees.
They don't wanna back down that driveway.
Yeah.
Is it going to be oil? Is it natural gas? Isn't there gas along
Well,
there?
I'm just saying in general, I don't know what they're gonna heat it with, but the amount of people that shop online now, I see these UPS trucks and FedEx trucks every day, you're gonna have other delivery trucks for furniture, whatever, you just, more importantly, fire safety, you got an ambulance wants to get up there, they don't wanna turn around and back down the driveway.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Was the consideration for moving the house noted as far as the potential, if there's any chance of moving to the north?
Did you take a note of that?
It's in here, yeah.
It's a possibility.
Not sure is it a possibility to just, Neil, is that a possibility to look at the property?
I'll look at it again, we have quite a few scenarios on this, I'll go back and look at some of the other drafts that we went through.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on.
All right.
So motion to continue this hearing to November 21st.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have a request for determination of applicability 165 Hemlock Drive.
Finally, come on up.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Joanne. So my name is G, living 165 Hemlock Drive. So it is the new built house. So we plan to do some works onto this house. The first thing is we plan to build a shed. It's relatively a small shed. It's 10 by 12 feet. And we have asked Mr. Luke Pyburn. Yeah, he have looked around our landscape, and he suggests us to sit this shed onto.
There's a in your packet behind the RDA. There's a plan. Yep.
And he think that is the best place because there is enough space to the front, to the back, and to as well as to both sides.
Great.
Yeah.
So this little shed got built too close to the street.
Yeah.
It's just too close to the street, so it needs to be picked up and moved back.
Oh, so it's there now?
It's almost finished. We don't know. We called before we built that shed. My wife called the town of Ayer, and the lady answered the phone, say if your shed is less than 200 square feet, you do not need the permit.
A building permit.
A building permit. So we asked the person to build that, but. 3 days work, but in the 3 days morning, almost finished. The builder of the Pingree Hill, he drove around and he found, your shed is too close to the road, and he told us you need to do something more work, communicate with the town. And then Joanne, we have appointment with Joanne, and she came over to our house to look at the trees. We asked for that appointment, right? And Joanne also found that problem. And that's why we come here for the permit to remove that to the new position, because that position is suggested by Luke.
Yes. Yes, and it's where it's proposed to move is perfect. It's a tiny shed. It's going to sit on cinder blocks.
But it's in the buffer.
It's in the buffer zone.
It's in the buffer.
Yeah.
Both
But
houses too.
no digging.
Okay.
Just sitting over there. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the first thing.
All right.
The second one is we plan to install the irrigation system to our landscape to watering the grass, and we also hired a professional installation company who are specialized to install the irrigation system. Greg's company, yeah, and we also asked to commission to permit we do that work.
So you know there's a water ban in town?
Yeah, I know.
You know that, right?
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
You sure you want to spend that money?
Yeah.
And also turn that on.
Yeah, we also ask for we have already get the permit for the second water meter, and this company suggests us do not use the second water meter because the town of Ayer is the most expensive second water meter expense around. Almost about $1,500 for the second water meter and installation fee. And the company man told me you could take about 8 years watering and come back that money, but we like to do that. We know the Ayer town of Ayer banned watering this year. Could be next year, but we plan to do that work. And we ask the permit from the commission.
Okay.
The third work we plan to, we are very worried about. We're concerned about that some trees in the back of our house in the backyard, and I took 2 pictures 2 days before and sent to Joanne. And the upper one is some trees, the height of the trees. Yeah, it's taller than our house, and the lower one is these trees are very close to the house, and especially that 2 trees. That 2 trees could damage to the house if they could fall down. And the third one, I marked that could be the dead one, because the last summer I did not see any leaves of that tree.
Okay.
So if the commission could permit us to remove these 2 trees as well as that dead one, so we also like to replant the trees to compensate that. So that's all the 3 things we ask this commission to permit us. Thank you for your consideration.
Where's the retaining wall that's
Right-
on the plan?
Right here. This is the
retaining
edge of
wall.
it. Yep.
Yeah, those trees just near the border of the wetland and the landmark and the landscape.
So it steps down and becomes a boulder.
Yeah.
A line of boulders here.
And then what's the distance between the boulder, the boulder retaining wall and the wetland?
It's about 20 feet, I think.
Is that 20? So 20 feet there?
Yep.
Yeah, about.
And I think that the tree that I looked, the one that was dropping all the acorns.
Yeah.
I think that's really over here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that one of the ones to come down?
That's the tallest one?
That's the tall one you're pointing out?
Well,
Yeah, this is tall.
Yeah, it is very, yep.
Yes. It is tall and close to
Yeah,
the
this too.
property.
Yeah, this too.
Yeah, so it
The
is.
first one is just now you pointed out, and the second one is in the same row.
And what's the distance between the base of the tree to your house?
I say it could be 20 feet, and from the trees to the house.
To the house?
Yeah.
20
Yeah, it could be 20 feet. And also, as I estimated, the tree is taller than 20.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a bit more than.
So that's we are worried about it.
Like 50.
Yeah, every day I worried about it because I witnessed a tree fall down when there is ice rain.
Ice storm.
Ice storm. My neighborhood, the tree just fall down and crash 2 cars.
Yeah, before
And
we move.
unluckily didn't fall down the direction to the house. Otherwise, there is I don't know, kill somebody, probably.
Or damage.
So every day when I wake up, I saw that trees. I feel,
And actually,
Not good.
during the construction of that house, we have a chance to come over to look at the house, and we noticed these trees. We talked to the developer, and who told us, so this is at the edge of the wetland. We do not have right to touch of these trees. You should contact with the Ayer town of Ayer after the delivery of the house. So that's why I ask you to come over to. Yeah.
More than likely, we had asked them to leave that.
So that you understand there's a catch-22 here. Right? So the developer had to clear cut.
Yeah.
So that where your house was all forest, all trees, right? All trees.
yeah.
So the developer had to come in, clear cut, build your house. But because it's so close to a wetland buffer, we requested a limit of work.
Yes.
Where they couldn't go beyond,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the tree line is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We understand that. Yeah.
That's right. There was some give and, you have to sort of give and take, right?
And they really are right on the edge of the limit of work.
Yeah.
So their roots have probably been compromised on the house side by having heavy equipment drive over them.
Yeah, and they probably will eventually die anyway. Yeah.
Which way do they lean?
Towards the house.
They lean towards the house.
They do. Yeah.
No, I don't have any objection, but it would be nice to replace it.
Replant, of course, we will do that. Yeah.
I like trees too.
Yeah.
Just not so big.
Yeah.
It'll grow.
And spindly.
Yeah.
Is that, so are you, what were you planning to put in, like 3 or 4, like other little, like maples or something, or?
Joanne told us there's a list for us to choose, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We will pick up one of you suggested us to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we have no knowledge which tree is more benefit to the wetland.
Okay.
Yep.
And when you install the irrigation system, how much ground disturbance would that involve? Anything to worry about there?
They come with a ditch witch and make a little skinny trench
Right.
and backfill it right away.
It's very little disturbance.
Very little disturbance. Yeah. Yep.
What is the town sort of reg now? You can't, was it just hand watering
Yeah.
last
It's-
summer?
it's no irrigation systems, right?
You can't,
Unless you have a special dispensation from DPW, you could get
Because you're
a
establishing
permit.
if you're like establishing.
So how about last year? The last year is permitted to water use the irrigation system?
If you had a
No,
permission
last year-
from the DPW,
Oh, DPW.
because your lawn was brand new, but I understand you guys water
Yeah,
by hand.
we get that permitted to do the,
Also,
because of the new
even
law.
though,
Yeah, you do that.
we got the permission from town to watering the new grass this year. Because that I know it is a very hard work to watering this so huge landscape. So I would rather to install irrigation. I know this year or next year probably we are not allowed to do to watering with the irrigation system, but
Future. Yeah.
the future, because we got older and older, it is too much physical work over there. So
You're young.
yeah, I'm almost go to the 60, so
Just grabs back to what
sorry.
So
last comment.
So
there's our cherry doctors. Yes, we're all just
Marching each other home, right? We're all just walking each other home.
so that's why I would like to put some money for my future.
If you could use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we hope
Yeah,
so.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
an if.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, Joanne, I was probably looking at this and wasn't paying quite close enough attention. So the shed's going from the side, it's going back kind of to where the trees are, did you say?
No.
No.
It's going from literally right here.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Oh, back.
Back.
Oh, okay, I thought that's where it was and it was going behind the house. Okay, I misunderstood.
That's where it needs to be.
Okay.
And Luke can just
Pick it up.
pick it up and move it and
Yeah.
put it back down
Yeah.
again.
It's just on blocks, right?
Yes.
It's on cinder blocks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just to let
When
everybody know.
when I called for the permission of the shed, they said, hey, you don't have to get the permission because you want to build a under 200 square feet.
Right.
But there is no further guide for
Right,
how to
right,
build it.
Right.
So we
right.
have no any knowledge about that. I'm sorry, I
No,
didn't make
no.
a mistake.
Yeah.
The woman who answered your question just answered your question, and that's all she did was answer your question instead of asking some more questions.
And one more thing, I didn't realize that is our property is in the buffer or wetland.
That's what Joanne told us.
Every work we want to do, we should get a permission.
Yes.
We learned that.
Yes.
Yep.
Now.
Yes. Very good. And I left them a copy of their plan with the wetland and the buffer zone. And I also wanted to show you, this is the plan that I had talked about getting for you, showing the blue areas are the wetlands in your neighborhood. So there are lots of them.
Oh, okay.
So you're
Where's 78B?
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
right here, this
Yeah.
is your lot.
Yeah.
So the wetland that's on your property is part of this bigger wetland system.
Oh, okay.
That all just drains down the hill into, it just keeps going, it just keeps going.
You're not alone.
Yes, you're not alone, you're
Yeah, I
in very
know.
good company.
So Bonnie, what were you
Just, this is just educational for everybody's sake. So I have a big lawn as well that I do not like mowing or taking care of. And there's a very inspirational author, his name is Doug
Talamy?
Talamy. And if you read his book, you will be inspired. And I am going to convert I'm started already. I'm converting half my lawn back to wild, back to native plants that will attract butterflies, insects, birds, and no more mowing. And it will be pretty, and it will blend into the natural landscape.
Nature, okay.
My neighbor will complain.
So what? Don't let your neighbor complain. Maybe your neighbor will be
Because
inspired.
I had a talk with new neighbors. They
Not only the neighbor, but also the developer. And
oh boy.
Yeah, developer. In my house sitting over here, the right one is the sample model house right now, and the left one is sold out. And recently, last summer, this house is on the selling, and this guy who is a single, is a young man, and he bought this house, and he didn't take any care about the grass. So grass at this size. The developer called him, come over to mow your grass. Otherwise, we cannot sell this house.
Oh.
Yeah.
be honest, it looks ugly.
The developer called him.
Yeah, a lot of neighborhood they really take care of their grass. So when we saw,
here we go.
Yeah, that's
They do in my neighborhood too, but I don't
really.
Yeah.
Your house looks natural.
Yeah.
Natural.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So one concern about so much grass, as you know, right? People taking care of their lawns, it's pretty, but a lot of people use fertilizer. They over fertilize with nitrogen, phosphate, and all that chemical goes down into
You don't plan to
the
do that.
aquifer in the wetland and basically creates, a big phosphorus load, nitrogen load. And
That's
it's, yeah, so you know, right?
Yeah, we'll take care of them.
Yep, we had this conversation.
Yeah, do our best to protect the environment.
All right, that's my spiel for tonight. The end of my
Going out on top.
No, it's second last. Okay.
Well, thank you for your suggestion.
We have a motion to issue a negative determination.
So moved.
For all three?
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we
Thank you.
So they'll sign it. I'm gonna go across the hall and make a photocopy of it and deliver it directly to you, and you'll be all set.
So,
Okay.
so right now, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for, yes.
Just take me a second. Or a messier signature.
Well, when I signed legibly here, when everything else is just SCH, straight line.
Yep.
I'm all done.
Guy's signature looks kind of like an EKG, and he takes up as much paper as there is. So if he were signing here, it would take up the whole page. It's very dramatic.
Okay, some of the
Are you?
discussions can go to the next. Well, the bylaw and regulations, next steps.
By all regs.
Because the next meeting is our meeting, right?
No, we're not in that right now.
Oh, we're not doing that.
Well,
we just
it's
continue.
aspirational. We
That's
just continue.
aspirational.
Yeah.
In practicality, it doesn't seem to work.
Meeting for commission business, November 21st.
Do we want to keep that?
Are we doing that?
Yeah, that's good. Sure.
Yeah,
Are we still doing that?
Up to you.
it'll be up to you. You're going to be chair and
Okay, then no. That's up to me.
But you have to wait until we do the reorganization.
All right.
A little bird tells me it's probably gonna be no.
I have an off-topic question, if anyone happens to remember. Do you know the name of the developer that did Hibiscus Lane?
That was, yep, they went out of business.
Right.
Robert,
Yeah.
Hicks.
Yeah.
Robert
Wow.
M. Hicks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And they went out of business.
Yeah, he's dead.
And then they changed.
Well, I think there was a bit of a kerfuffle with the planning board. I don't remember when, like 10 years ago,
right.
where the lawyer for the estate cleared the bond.
Yeah. We gotta start paying for the finishing.
What I was really trying to look around for, I'm gonna look up, see if I can find a newspaper article I read years ago. The DPW head at the time said there was some issue where the roads would have to be resurveyed, and I don't know if that was ever done. Something about meeting requirements for the state in order to get matching funds for the land. But I don't remember what the issue was exactly.
I don't recall.
Well, by the way, we have an upcoming vacancy on this commission. If we step around this long, you have any interest?
Either guy, are you listening to?
I don't think, I think there's a lot of people who think I'm completely unqualified to be here.
Well.
Yeah. I have no qualifications other than interest.
I think I'll
You're gonna
stick to
pass.
my current schedule. But thank you.
All right. Request for partial certificate compliance, lot 12 Trevor Trail, and lot 13.
You already voted on these.
Yep.
You just have to sign.
Sorry. I thought
So these are the two houses on that cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
Did the drainage work out?
So you missed all this excitement.
I know. Jeez.
Were you not at the last meeting?
No.
No, she wasn't.
That's in the minutes.
So here's
Well,
12.
when Debbie intro came on, and I was overwhelmed with life.
Did you read this?
So CJ came in and to the planning board and did an RD to divide off the back part of these two lots.
It was really succinctly written up in the minutes.
Oh, and the drainage as well?
Oh, the drainage.
That was my question.
No,
Did they get the drainage figured out?
No, we're gonna end up picking that up on the COC, I think.
On the COC.
Sorry.
Yeah,
For which one?
Trevor Trail.
Oh, the Trevor, the street COC.
Yeah.
So these are just the two house
just
lots.
the lots, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So these two lots, before they got divided up, were under the diesel direct order
Yes,
for the oil spill.
Yep,
And CJ couldn't sell them
mm-hmm,
because of that. So he cut off the backs of them.
okay,
And we're issuing partials just on the fronts of them.
okay.
It's possible the backs will rejoin the fronts at some future point if he were to sell them to the future front homeowners.
Otherwise, they
All right, they
there's-
remain.
they could be combined with this lot right here, which has frontage.
Right. He said he has options.
Oh,
Yeah. So these are landlocked right now, but
Yeah.
apparently you can create a landlocked lot.
oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. If it's complicated, it comes here. Oh, look at that. Brief, to the point.
Two checks off.
Off.
Have you been down through Nashua Street extension down behind there?
Nashua
Lately?
Street, I was there beginning of last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it look?
Well, it looks like a street that would have been accepted by town meeting at
Yeah.
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 The street trees are planted.
Yeah. Yeah.
The basin at the
At the bottom is all done.
Yep, that's all done. I don't know if the replication area is done yet or not. I didn't get that far.
So I think we ought to use some of our wetland fund and have a handwriting analysis done on our signatures. Just so we know what we're all dealing with each other. They're different signatures.
It's too late for me, sorry.
That was a joke, because that would be an illegal use of
The wetlands.
Right.
Fund.
Instead, we're getting a really nice
10 o'clock.
database.
Okay, it's late.
Okay, next, notice of intent for town of Ayer Pine Meadow Conservation Area Pond Wetland Device.
All right.
Clerk will read the hearing notice.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, here you go, clerk.
Town of Ayer Conservation Commission. The Ayer Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Thursday, November 7th, 2019 at 7 p.m. or later at the Ayer Town Hall, 1 Main Street, Ayer, Massachusetts. Read the petition of the Town of Ayer filing a notice of intent, NOI, for installing a pond leveling device in Pine Meadow Conservation Area. Location 0 Groton Harvard Road, Assessors Map 14, Parcel 3, Ayer, Mass. 01432, subject to protection under the Wetlands Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40. The public is invited to attend. Copies of the application may be reviewed at the Conservation Office, 978-772-8249, by appointment. George Bacon, Chair, Ayer Conservation Commission, November 1, 2019. There you have it.
Nicely done.
Nicely done.
So it turns out that writing a notice of intent for a beaver deceiver is a really complicated thing. That it has involved one call to DEP, one call to Natural Heritage, and needs another call to DEP.
Oh.
Because, after all, what is a beaver dam? Is it bank? Is it land underwater? Is it?
It's land above water.
Well,
Well, it's both.
but
Land
as
below
soon
and
as you
land
dig
above.
the notch in the top of the dam
Mm-hmm.
and the water starts coming, Judy and I talked about this for half an hour the other day.
Wow.
So I'm mostly through with writing it, except to hear back. I know we have to send it to Natural Heritage. I don't know if we're exempt from the MISA part of Natural Heritage. And I've got a call into Misty Ann Merrill, but she has not returned my call yet. So we're close. Judy also said, as far as the conditions, we could use the first 20, but she would like a special condition that allows ongoing maintenance of the device.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would recommend continuing this
Okay.
to next time.
Motion to continue to November 21st.
Just one question, just so I know where it is. Is it upper dam or lower dam?
The lower dam. There is one in the upper dam. The dam that failed.
This is just above where the Boy Scout Bridge is.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
so it's
lower
low, yeah,
bridge.
that's the lower one. Okay.
That's now 6.5 feet tall, or if not more, if not taller than that. It's
So
huge.
But the water is now flowing.
Is it?
Nice.
Water's flowing?
Yeah.
Over it?
Through
No,
it.
through it.
Through it.
It's in.
The deceiver is in.
This isn't after the fact.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha, okay. So it's flowing, okay. Okay, yes.
We haven't trapped any baby beavers.
It looks like it has little grates now in front of the.
It does.
So they can get out?
Yeah. So they can't get in.
So they
they can't get in.
Yeah, there's a whole,
Yeah,
it looked like kind of a muzzle really for the end of the pipe so that
yeah,
they can't get in.
because we had that experience at.
That's right,
Mhm.
yes.
That's
Oh.
because Ayer's beavers are very smart beavers.
They are very, not easily deceived.
Or get in trouble. They have a curious nature.
Mischievous beavers.
You make a motion to continue the
Right.
beaver deceiver discussion?
November 21st.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we need to discuss Angry Hope tonight?
No.
Let's put that off.
Bylaw and regulations. We have a bylaw.
Congrats, by the way.
Yeah.
Awesome job.
Nicely done.
And I personally don't think we need to start discussing it tonight at this late hour. With brains weary, unless anybody else really wants to.
So the Attorney General has to sign it though, right? Like, or approve
That
it?
can take up to 120 days.
So,
And then it doesn't go into effect until it's approved by the Attorney General and then posted in 3 places by the town clerk.
okay.
I didn't hear about that part. I just know we're waiting for the Attorney General and it could be
And
quite
that
some time.
And that has to be posted, officially posted.
Okay.
So I still have the folder with all the regulations and I've never put the matrix together and completed it, I should say. I put the matrix together, but I've never completed it. Correct.
So
So
we can
I will start to
strategize
work
at our
on that
next meeting on how to proceed.
with a new chair.
Yeah. Yeah, with that new chair.
Yeah, and I already have some ideas on how to handle certificates of compliance going forward.
Oh. Some interesting emails.
Yes.
Although I did look up, I found the regulations.
Yes.
We do have to respond to a COC request within 21 days. Regulation 10.05
9A.
9A.
So do we have to issue or we just have to respond?
I thought it said issue.
No.
That doesn't sound right.
It's not very many days, especially
Because-
when they deliver you 9 of them.
Because if you find that it's not complete, then
Which it wasn't, because they don't have the signs.
They
in.
don't have the
Yeah.
signs.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't have the affidavits.
Right.
Upon written request by the applicant, a certificate of compliance shall be issued by the issuing authority within 21 days of receipt thereof. But I would assume, this applies to notices of intent as well, I would assume that upon within 21 days of receipt of a request, that we have that little wiggle room of if it's not a complete submission.
Right.
Right.
Right. I think I
So
remember going
that's the
through
one,
that.
should be the 21 days should be marked from when it's
Complete.
administratively.
Yes.
Yes.
But we do, so we got 9 of them
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and it appears we have to,
Well, so
Well,
we have
what do we have to do?
we have the letter that we can have applicants sign if we can't open their public hearing within 21 days.
Which,
It has to be by agreement.
which in the past, actually, the engineer who submitted these COC requests said they wouldn't sign, they would verbally agree to but not sign. And our bylaw requires written submission, but I think the Wetland Protection Act and regulations also requires written signing, so I suggest we make that really clear in our future
Going
regulations.
forward.
But
All right. moving on, reorganization. Time has come,
The time has come.
so, still want to be chair?
I do. Did I fail the IQ test?
You have to talk more, John. You have to talk more than, no, it's okay. Me.
And you?
That's a high bar.
That's a high bar.
It's gonna be a really high bar no, it's gonna be a really low bar after the next meeting. Going on, he'll be able to talk more than her.
Yeah, that's
Usually.
right.
Okay,
Alright, so,
reorganization will be
chair,
John, chair. Vice chair?
Mark, you still vice chair?
Sure.
Oh, who's gonna be the clerk? Huh. Oh, okay, I'll stay clerk. George is just gonna be a lowly member who knows
Backbencher.
everything.
Backbencher.
Backbencher, backseat driver.
Backseat driver.
Sage,
I'm hoping.
sage.
Sage in residence.
Right, sage in residence.
Okay. John has indicated while you were out of the room making copies that the distinction between applications and business meetings, he's ready to be done with that.
Whoa, that would make
He had
my-
a definitive opinion on that. We told him he couldn't say that though until after he was chair.
elevated.
Oh, but we have to vote, right?
Yeah, so motion to accept the new slate of leadership effective the close of this meeting.
Can I vote too, since I'm still
Yeah.
an effective board?
Yeah.
All right.
Effective at the,
No,
You gotta make the motion.
Oh, I make the motion
okay,
to,
is there a second?
for reorg.
Can I second it, since
Sure.
this involves me? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you
Good
for your
job.
service.
Nice job, George.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna be looking your way a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, meetings.
I have to say, George, I don't know that we would have as expeditiously gone through the bylaw process without you as chair.
That's true.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you for that.
That is true.
You do okay, John, you got our excellent administrator and our round Italian clerk.
Round Italian clerk.
I thought she was the sheriff. The sheriff.
No, I'm the sheriff.
The sheriff.
Got the badge to prove it.
I do. I do.
All right, office updates.
Office updates.
Anything really crucial?
We need some more erosion control at the stormwater basin in the rotary, but I now have a contact for that. Pingree Hill replication areas. More. Stay tuned. We already talked about COCs. So the notice of intent in your packets is for repaving at Murphy Knives.
Oh, yeah.
But the plan that they submitted with the notice of intent doesn't show where the existing paving is. So I think I might want to ask them about that.
Just ask them to submit a revised
A real
plan
plan.
for our next meeting.
Yeah. Yep. And I asked Calvin to plant his tree box filters, and he did.
Nice.
And that's what they look like. They each got a lilac.
I thought they were gonna be trees.
I thought they were too, and I pulled out the plan, and nope, they can be a lilac.
I thought they were gonna be maple trees.
Yeah. I
That
thought-
was on the list, right?
Yeah. Yep. And they're intended to be in there for 5 to 10 years or until they die, and then they need to be replaced.
Well, lilac will never die.
Yeah. So, anyway, that was it's very nice to be able to ask him to do something and have him call me back to say that it's done. It's a great thing.
You know, if we ever wanted to have something in food box filter that we could guarantee would never die.
Mm,
Could they ever do poison ivy?
yeah, maybe.
Or not weed.
Yeah.
You want to be chair?
I don't think any of this is, we can just, I think we can do this next time. None of this is really,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's time for the fire department to take the boards out of Balch Dam.
George knew that and asked me, and I talked to the chief, and he's, wow, yeah.
Out they came?
I don't know if they're out yet, but knowing the chief, yep, they probably are. I did ask him, because he told me when you took them out last year that they were in rough shape. I did ask him if he thought we needed to replace them, and he said yes. But I don't know where you're going to be able to find something that's 3 inches thick.
What's the meter? I mean, what's the material?
They're wood.
I mean,
I'm not sure. I would assume they're oak, but I don't really know.
I think you can find.
Can't you special order?
Yeah, you can.
I can just go right to a sawmill.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
in
not
Littleton. There's a really nice sawmill.
just.
That's going to be.
is it our responsibility? It's DPW's responsibility.
Yeah.
We don't own the dam.
No, we don't own the dam.
Damn
And DPW would probably know how to go to a sawmill to get something specially cut.
They make aluminum ones too.
They do. That's right.
it. Would that be heavy enough?
Yeah, and they even have gaskets between them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And if you
Nice.
haven't been to Tower Hill lately, it
Beautiful.
is just lousy with winterberry right now. So this is a picture I took, and I put this up on our Facebook site.
yes.
And as of today, we had 66 people who liked it, and all kinds of people who made comments about it, like, wow, that's so pretty. I see it in wetlands all the time. Would it be good to plant on the edge of Sandy Pond? So,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Winterberry?
winterberry.
Yeah.
It's native holly.
It's a nice water-loving plant.
Yep.
But also grows in not
Yeah.
so, not
It-
so
yeah.
water-loving.
Yeah.
I have one in my side yard
Yeah.
that I planted. That's not as beautiful as that one, but it's got berries.
And the bird, it's not a preferred food
Yeah.
for birds, but about January when there's
Yeah.
nothing else left,
Yeah.
the robins will come in and just
Yeah.
clean out.
Yep. Cedar waxwings.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 No, it's really pretty.
Yeah. So that's all I've got, George.
All
Really
right.
pretty.
Any number updates? Can't wait. Any committee updates? Can't wait.
I have one that I can totally wait on.
Okay.
Has to do with sheds.
Motion to adjourn?
Overmove.
Oh,
Adjourn.
Oh.
Forgot to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good night.